If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
happy. No more kissing ass, no more being an outcast. Oh, I don't care no more, I swear. Happy, I'll only do what aligns with me. I'm building my own dynasty. Oh, I don't care no more, I swear.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
What is so important about driving faster than anyone else?
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
If like I wasn't a feminist, I don't know what I would be, if that makes sense. Like I don't really have like that's just all I know, I guess. And I guess I haven't really educated
That actually
myself.
makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Feminism is basically the air that we breathe, and it's the water we swim in, whether people know it or not. It's ingratiated in society. So you may not have any other position other than that. So if you say, I really don't know anything besides feminism, I believe you.
Thank you.
It's the mainstream. Do you guys believe in the patriarchy?
But it's still a bad position. It's still like what you
fine.
just saying.
And what is that? So what is the patriarchy?
It's patriarchy's when like men rule, right? Mostly, right?
Men rule, women drool. Wait, what? Okay, that's
No, that was my fault.
Say it. Can you say the patriarchy is awesome?
it's not bad. It's not bad.
The patriarchy is awesome.
That one, that's for you, Good One Motorsports.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning. The following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome, everyone. Pardon me. Welcome to the show. How the heck is everyone this fine morning? Good to see everybody out there. I see we got, let's see who's in the house. Big Red Sky is in the house. He was first in chat. It says, not one step back, boys. That's true. That's true. Not one step back. That's what happens. Mikey Balls made it in, one of the great mods of the channel. Serendipity, our South African lady, has checked in. Good to see you. Not sure if she's still here, but that's okay. Steve Posey, good morning, sir. Ticky Tack has made it by. Good to see you. Kevin has made it in the chat today. Smoking Spaceman, Lord of Pies, and Agripolis, all in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you, Ben. Awesome to see you there, man. Did I see a super chat from Ben on whatever last night? I think I did. Naomi has made it in the house, hanging out with the great Mikey Balls. And good to see you in the house. And yeah, man, good stuff. Good stuff. You're about to take a nap. That's great. You should. It's weird that you're taking a nap in the middle of the day, but hey, what do I know? Ladies and gentlemen. Good. Yeah, I saw that you were supporting JB, man. Good to see you. Good to see you do that. That was awesome. I honestly was in and out, so I didn't actually send anything in because I honestly wasn't even following it. So unfortunately, that just didn't work out for me last night. That's okay. Things happen. As always, folks, I got to say, the show is sponsored by my wallet. And as such, it's important. The grift is important. If you can send something, please do so. If you can't, I certainly understand. Please, if you cannot afford to send money in, please do not put yourself in a bad financial situation. It will all be okay. All right, and so it's an interesting day today. Naomi, Mike, I've heard he's a great conversationalist. I heard it. Once he starts, you just can't stop listening to him. That's what I heard. That's what I'm sticking to that too. So, it's been a great weekend. I had a lot of fun. Saturday night was just off the chain. Really had a great time with our trash talking Saturday night, which I didn't actually talk that much trash, but I talked a little bit. Hey, what's up, Chaotic Truth? Good to see you as you breeze on through. If you would like to come up and be a part of the show today, I will make sure you get the link, sir. Good sir. If you don't know, Chaotic Truth hosts one of the greatest panel shows on YouTube, and it's really good. So if you haven't actually made it over to see Chaotic Truth, you owe it to yourself to do so, and it's gonna be great. Yeah. So do that. Obviously not while my show's on, but I gotta do that caveat there. But but anyway, so it's going to be a good show today. I mean, there's so much to talk about. We've got a lot of Trump stuff going on. We've got all of the weirdness going on with these protests. Which have you guys seen these? For lack of a better word, they're like auditors that are going to these protests, and they're asking these people who are protesting. They're asking them what. Sorry, I got my lights out of balance, guys. I'm sorry. Give me one sec. We're getting there. That was too much. That's why I need a stagehand. I don't have one, but I probably need one. That looks pretty good. Now let's soften it up a little bit. There we go. I like that. That's good. So he had a great auditor episode last week. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have noticed, but all these people are going around to these demonstrations, these anti-Trump, anti-Elon Musk demonstrations, and asking, as our friend Tiki Tack says, how is Trump a fascist? How is he a Nazi? What do you mean Elon is making millions off this deal when he's actually losing money? And what the interesting thing to me is how many of these people seem to be. Now, I'm not saying they are. I'm saying they seem to be. How many of these people seem to be paid to be there? Am I the only one? Am I the only one to think that that's very interesting? I think it's very interesting that people are being paid to be to go to these things. Wow, my lighting is really jacked up. Give me one sec, guys. I'll be right back. All right. That seems better. All right. Good deal. So, yeah, how is Trump a fascist. Yeah, it's all grassroots, right? Right? It's all grassroots. Who said that? Ben, yeah, grassroots. It's all grassroots, guys. Hey, Chuck in Tennessee, good to see you. You still above water, buddy? You still? Oh, and I'm good. It's good to see Leah too. I missed you coming in. I apologize. I've been ducking around with my lights. I do apologize for that, but it really annoys me when I screwed up my setup the other day and I hadn't fixed it yet, so had to do that. You okay, Chuck? How are you doing out there in the wet, the wet portion of Tennessee? I mean, all of Tennessee is wet right now, but I think Chuck got it far harder than me. But pumping water from finished basement, almost got it out. Nah, that sucks, man. That sucks. How much damage you think you got there? You're gonna have to pull out like all kinds of drywall and stuff, or what's going on? So, yeah, that's terrible, man. Hopefully you're doing okay. You know, it's terrible. But yeah, it's serendipity. Yeah, principles for payment. Absolutely zero credibility. So I think that's one of the reasons why these protests aren't getting more publicity, because honestly, who wants to listen to a bunch of people who legitimately are just paid actors? Like, they don't like this one video I was watching is this Russian guy or Ukrainian, I don't know what he is, but somewhere from that area of the world. He goes and he's at this protest and he's asking questions. I think he's doing a good job. And one of the things he does is he basically asks all of these people, well, what's going on with Trump? Why do you not like him? What do you really think? And all of these things. And none of these guys can actually answer him. And I think it's crazy. I think this is all nuts. It's a no flood basement. Oh, 12 by tile floor. Okay. Drywall sucks, man. Oh man, all has to come out. Dang, son. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that, brother. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear about that. Last hurricanes, yeah. I'm pretty fortunate myself where I'm at. It's not like it couldn't flood, but it would take some real doing to flood where I'm at. But I have, there are obviously because of where I'm at now, I get a lot of wind damage, and I had to have my whole roof replaced a couple of years ago, and it was literally one of the worst experiences I've been through with an insurance company ever. The insurance company, when I went to get my roof replaced, they basically offered me like no money. They only wanted to repair certain sections. My roof was like 11 years old or something, and it was not at the end of its life, but it was old enough that you couldn't match the material anymore. And all of that. So fortunately, Tennessee has great laws forcing insurance companies to do things. And it basically, it was a matter, if they had not replaced my entire roof, we would have sued them and won a ton of money. But they drug their feet on everything. Even the final payment to the contractor, which was like $5,000, something like that. Even that, they just drug their feet so much. And they sent a check that couldn't be cashed initially and all of that. So, it was something else. But you weren't able to get flood insurance. That's interesting. So, that's interesting that they weren't able to. You may have some recourse, Chuck, because if you asked and they refused to give you flood insurance because they didn't think it would happen, there's got to be something you can do. So, but definitely, definitely it's insurance companies are just. I mean, I'm not saying they're all terrible, but man, they suck the fun right out. They suck the fun right out of life for sure. Pardon me. All right, so all of this Trump stuff coming out, which is there's always new stuff. The biggest thing that I have is the biggest things that they seem to harp on now, and if anyone wants to come up and have a back and forth on this, you're welcome to do so. The mods will get you the link. The link is already in the mod chat. We'll take callers here shortly, but it seems to me like that for whatever reason, even people that like Trump and like the policies and understand what's going on are getting tired of all the blockades being thrown up every single time that we try and move forward at all. And by move forward, I don't just mean financially. I don't just mean globally. I mean, it's just anything, right? Like something as simple as getting someone like Chuck help. If Trump came down tomorrow and said, "Yeah, you know what, we're going to give a couple $1 million to this area of Tennessee because they were told the insurance that they didn't need flood insurance, and now they need once if you were denied the insurance and you asked for it, and FEMA's not going to help you, then it seems like something that you'd want to, you'd want to investigate." Imperious, why call in once I'm not sure that Jim Bob or Andrew are cucks, bro. I don't think that's the case. I don't think you could make that case. I think you can make the case that you disagree with them a lot. I'm certain of that, but I don't think you can make the case a cuckolder. But anyway, pardon me. Darth Grumpy Dad, what's up? Imperious doesn't block anybody. So, Imperious doesn't block anybody. He revels in it. He's probably only partially paying attention to this channel because he's probably over raging on CT, and that's okay. He has his priorities. It's fine. I don't need any. I don't need anything better. So, at any rate, guys. So, let's get back to the whole thing. So, the biggest stone of contention continues to be this idea that this idea that Trump has and the rest of the U.S. government has sold out to the Israelis. I find that really entertaining, and mainly because I can't actually find any evidence of that. If anything, I think that the Israelis are getting less help now than they ever have, and they're probably pretty pissed about it. But they really actually need our help. They need the U.S. to be on their side. They need us far more than we need them, and so I do think that they're going to be throwing money around like none other, right? I do think that I think it's no holds barred. It'll be very interesting. All right, sorry guys. In Central RSA, 10 days of torrential rains, destroyed roofs, ceilings, gardens. They remain soaked, so repairs have to wait. Wow, that's terrible. South Africa is interesting. But yeah, so it's annoying to me. I don't know if it's annoying to anyone else. It's annoying to me that that it seems like so much of the country is so much against the president doing his job that the minute he proposes something, it's just, you have some stupid judge, and not even like made. I mean, we're talking about a circuit court judge. Just a low level federal judge will hold up the entire process. And it's getting old, man. It's getting old. It's the only thing they can do, really, right? Because basically, Trump has a mandate from his election to do certain things. One of those things is to even trade, get the tariffs to working. He's doing that. Another mandate, try and pull people out of the Middle East without giving them $80 billion worth, or however much it was worth of equipment, arming up terrorists again, and all of that. I know so here, all right, look, guys, here's the thing. Imperius came on the other night. We were having a good conversation, and I wouldn't let him up, even though it was a trash talk Saturday. And honestly, if it had just been me and Flo and those guys, he's still here. He'll just run over he'll bounce back and forth between. I'm sure he's on CT's channel right now. I'm sure he's over there talking shit. There's no conversation. It was bitch Jim Bob, who's a coward. Jim Bob's not my golden goose, bro. Jim Bob didn't bring me any money. What's up, Beth Mayhew? How are you? Good to see you. Imperius, it is actually good to see you back, man. You just need to calm down just a little bit. No, I don't. Jim, I think it's funny that you're so wound up about those two. I don't even know what you have against Jim Bob. Jim Bob seems pretty normal, but I will be honest that I do not normally. Jim Bob normally streams right around the time I do or right after I do, and I don't actually get a chance to watch much of his stuff. So sorry about that. If I'm not up to speed on all of his stuff. But it could be, I don't know. I'd have to. Mr. Mister comes in with one of the purposes of Trump's economic policy is to get the Fed to drop the interest rate. Basically, Trump is saying doing it or it will get painful. That's true. One of the interesting things, am I the only one that find it interesting that the Fed, and by the Fed, I mean the Federal Reserve and a bank that it represents. Am I the only one that finds it like super interesting that they constantly seem to work against the American people? Am I the only one that finds that interesting? Honestly, I think the Federal Reserve has to go. I think we need to go back to the way the government worked pre-1913, pre-Federal Reserve. And I see a lot more of people saying the same thing too. There's no reason why the Fed should be able to determine all of these things instead of actual business. And it's a sort of thing. Was it Flow State? Oh yeah, that's right. Imperius Flow State says that you have a bounty on his channel. Who's mean? I don't want hold on. I gotta have a. Who's mean? Who's mean? I don't know. Who's mean? I don't know who's mean. Is Andrew mean to you? I'm sorry. I didn't think he was mean to you. 13, that's probably correct. Flow State does actually seem a lot more toned down than he used to be. So, I will agree with that. Actually, he started a new channel. Interestingly enough, he already had that channel that existed. I think he started that channel because Flow State really wasn't the channel that he wanted to do. He started that with a friend of his, and it ended up being just him doing it or something like that. So I think he's just kind of not reinventing himself, but he's just kind of getting a little closer to the thing. Flo's a bitch felon who needs him. Well, I'm behind. We need Simp to give him money. I mean, that's kind of the purpose of doing what he does. So just like CT, just like everybody else. Pardon me. You're actually mean. Andrew is a bitch who tries to act. I don't think Andrew tries to act mean. I don't think that's true. All right, I can't go down. I can't keep going down this road with you. I got to actually do the show. Let's see. Viking Paradigm, good to see you in the house. I'm glad to see Viking Paradigm back out so much. There for a while, he was, kind of what am I trying to think of? Missing. You were missing, brother. CT doesn't need the money. He does it for his amusement. I think he needs the money. I understand his wife has money or his wife's family has money, but or whatever it is. But, it's Andrew actually absolutely grows naturally. What's interesting is no kidding. I'm actually really impressed the way Andrew plays YouTube. Now I can't because I just don't think or act in this way. So for me, it's like I just can't do it. It's so interesting though to me, probably the only one. That Andrew plays the internet and YouTube so well. He'll have 5,000 people in his chat and keep them entertained for 3 or 4 hours. And that's impressive. That's actually really impressive. Like I'm watching like Pearl can't do that. Rolo can't do that. None of these other creators that actually kind of either talk, they kind of talk side eye at Andrew, talking about how, how he's cool and we're all buddies and everything, but then, whatever. But Andrew knocks it down, man. Andrew just knocks it down. Viking Paradigm, I'm under like 3 NDAs right now about business deals that I have going on. So I totally get it, bro. Totally get it. And I'm glad to see you helping Thor out. I really am. I'm glad I saw you on the 24-hour stream. Good on you, man. Good on you. I really think you did well there. Imperious, I would actually bet $100 you could not last 5 hours in a debate with Andrew. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. I don't think that you could hold to a theme for longer than an hour. I mean, I would bet money. Plus, you'd have to cam up, and you're never going to do that. So it's cool to say things like that when you know that you're not going to cam up or anything. So, but I don't think you could do 5 hours. I feel like you do kind of need to cam up. I actually think it's a bitch move not to cam up. I used to kind of not think that, and I still let people not cam up on my channel because who the fuck am I? I'm a little guy, but if you're gonna, if you actually, I don't seriously debate people that won't cam up, and when people don't cam up, we get things like this because if you're not going to cam up, I really can't take you seriously. And so we get things like this. This is the kind of thing I do. A little thing made looking at their wretched little fucking avatar getting fucked up because they don't want to cam up like little fucking girls. So there you go. That's what happens when you don't cam up in actual debates. I'm going to make fun of you because you're a bitch. So that's how that works. You're going to be the best man at one of Andrew's old mods' wedding? Do tell. I'm very interested. Are you talking about Are We Not Men? Are you going to be best man at Are We Are Not Men's wedding? Really? Are you? I didn't think it was Andrew's mod, though. I'm not sure who Imperius is talking to now. You don't hate CT? CT does it for the money, Imperius. He is just spurging. It is funny, though. I'm going to have to get back to the subject. But have I seen CT's account? Yeah, he makes a shit ton of money. He literally makes probably more. He probably makes more money than I do, for sure. I see the super chats. I see everything. Okay, that means he does it for the money. Involved in packs. That's literally where the money is. I don't need the money, but I don't do things for fucking free. I think Imperius, it's interesting. Imperius has derailed the entire show. I'm sorry that he sucked for 3 years, but that doesn't mean that he's not doing it for the money. For his own ego and expose. I think you're full of shit. See, normally Imperius, I can kind of see where you come from. I think you're full of shit. I haven't protected anyone. I go after people. If you mean that if you're mad because I wouldn't let you up the other night, sorry. My channel, my rules. I didn't even make money. I probably would have made more money if you had come up. I didn't protect Jim Bob. I actually protected you. I honestly didn't want Jim Bob to make fun of you and watch you spurg out. Imperius is just Imperius is Imperius. So I'm just saying, look, I'm Imperius. I had your best interests at heart, buddy. Did he really? That's funny. Anyway, all right, back to Imperius has consumed enough of my time. Imperius, you're cool. Calm down. We'll have you up again. No problem. Anyway, it's pretty funny. I don't think I've ever obsessed over people the way Imperius does. Fuck talking about Trump, guys. Have you ever fixated on people like this? Like I absolutely do not. I don't fixate on people like that. I don't care. Imperius, dude, you are like you're there's something going on there, man. And I like you. Like I think you add a lot to the show. I think you add a lot to the show when you come up and you have good insights. But when you're all spurgy like this, dude, you don't really add that much. It is what it is. Yeah, and the drama beefs just really I really don't give a shit, man. The only person I have a problem to right now is We Are Not Men, and that's because that is only because he literally called people I respect pedophiles. No, that was Jack. Are We Not Men has literally tried to extort money from me and my friends. So there's only two people, I guess, that I really have a problem with, and it's not even a beef. I just don't give a fuck. So there we go. Apologies. I left my sound on my phone on again. I do apologize. So back to what I was actually talking about, and I think this is interesting. If any of you actually have an opinion on this, you're great. It's fine for you guys to come up. It'll be great. But basically, it's interesting to me how so many people are kind of turning their backs on Trump behind this line. The only thing that seems to be working is this line of, he kowtows to the Israelis and all this other stuff. And I think that that's a bunch of garbage. To me, Trump's doing exactly what I wanted him to do. I knew that it was going to hurt. I knew the tariffs were going to cause problems. I knew for a fact that things would probably get worse before they got better. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, has this actually affected my daily life? No, not really. Yeah, okay. Gas is cheaper. That's good. I haven't really noticed any difference in the cost of my food, especially, but weirdly, stuff that's actually made in the U.S. seems to be getting raised just because people of profiteering, and Trump has nothing to do with that. At the end of the day, I like what Trump's doing. I don't have a problem with it. There are things I dislike about his policy that I personally wouldn't do, but I can't take the viewpoint that you have to agree with everything that I say to be cool. And that's just the way it is. Like I don't agree with everything that anyone says. And it's really a tired rhetoric, right? And I just don't know. I don't know how better to get rid of it or to discuss it than that. Anson Knowles, you're correct. Trump plus small hat lover plus Democratic base equals standard Democrat racism. It is interesting that the party that goes around talking about being inclusive is the most racist group of people on the planet that I'm aware of. They even beat out the Koreans, and that's pretty fucking racist. What's up, Glenn Lawrence? Good to see you. I did not send you a link, sir. I will get you one now. I do apologize for my oversight. I did not know that you were awake. And I know that you have lots of responsibilities, so I did not want to I didn't want to assume anything, but you now have the link, sir. Viking, if you would like to come up and chat, that would be great. I'm actually tired of the rhetoric as well, Ben, that the rhetoric of Trump lied somehow. He has not lied. Everything he said he was going to do, he did. Everything that he said would happen thus far has in fact happened. Why? How is this so hard to understand? It seems to me to be very, very easy to understand. Right? Trump said he ran on a platform of reciprocal tariffs, and those tariffs are working. They're working. The other night when I had Tyler on Friday night, we went through, and it's something like already 10 of our major trade partners have either reduced their tariffs or are in the process of reducing their tariffs. Viking, if you could DM me on Discord, and I'll get you that. What's up, Mr. Glenn Lawrence, sir? How the hell are you?
Oh, I am well. I'm
Good.
doing better
Good to
than I
hear
should
that. Good to
be.
hear that. I know that you don't normally talk a lot of politics, and that's what we're talking today, but you're always a good guest, so I wanted to have you.
I talk more politics than I think I do because everything I realize everything's political.
Everything is political. That's right. So I used to hate politics when I was in high school. I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. I think most high schoolers think that, unless you're part of the Young Republicans or some shit.
Yeah, then you're dumb too. I'm kidding.
And then you're, and then even then you think it's dumb, but it's cool because they're chicks. And right.
But like, man, see when you see that one button just if it pops right off. I mean, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I was thinking.
You understand. So, but it's an interesting thing to me anyway, how even when people are doing, or in this case, Trump is doing exactly what he said he would do and getting the results that he said that he would, people are still really angry about that. So it's to me it's both terrible and heinous at the same time, but kind of wonderful too, right? It's kind of like it reveals who the fucking idiots are. Right?
If that wasn't already revealed, I mean,
yeah, but now we're even seeing it. It's so transparent now. Have you seen these videos of these protests where the auditors, they call themselves auditors, they're just streamers. They go in and literally start asking these protesters, why are you here? What do you think Trump is a fascist? Can you define fascist? Then he says, then they'll say, well, they walk up to this one kid. This is great. This is a great bit. You probably won't be able to find it, but they walks up to this kid. This kid's got like, he looks like a standard issue, like punk, right? Hair's not too long, not too short, kind of scrawny looking, the kind of kid that doesn't have to, is just kind of a punk. And he's waving a sign that says Trump is a Nazi, some shit like that. And literally the guy says, okay, how is Trump a Nazi? Well, it wasn't actually even talking about Trump. He's talking about Elon. He's like, well, he did the Sig Heil right in front of Congress or whoever, and live on TV. And that wasn't what he did. And even if it was parody, which it wasn't. It was, but anyway, the guy just literally couldn't get that through his head. And not only that did not sink in. His buddy wanted to fight the camera guy.
You also got to realize he didn't want it to sink in, because if he had to accept it, then now he realizes, well, what am I fighting for? Then if it was a parody, why am I mad?
Yeah. So the other the other interesting thing is how many of these people are paid actors. Now, in the past, we've heard people of all types of, not political groups, on the or segments on the right say that a lot of these riots and protests and all of this that the Democrats organize are actually paid activists getting paid by people to show up. They don't actually believe any of this stuff. And so I was watching this guy's Ukrainian or Russian, somewhere from the cold area of Europe, and he's talking to these people and walking around, and he actually at some point this lady on a bicycle comes over, and she's been hired as security, literally to go around with this guy and prevent him from talking to some people. Supposedly she's supposed to be keeping him safe, but the reality is she's really just there to keep him from asking people too many questions. But he does actually ask this guy that I think it was a guy, might have been a girl, I forget.
Can't tell these days anyway. So
yeah, who's paying you to be here? And the guy literally said, had a mask on. That's what I'm saying. I'm assuming it was a guy. It was a husky voice. Basically, the voice says Soros. Like literally just says Soros. And then they go around and they talk to some other people, and literally it was all these people were not all, but a vast majority of these people were being paid to be there, and they didn't believe any of it. Right? Like there was one guy who was an older guy. Like this guy was old, and he says, the guy, the Ukrainian guy is saying, "Hey, why are you here? What are you protesting? Is Trump going to take my Social Security?" And the guy's like, "No, he's not taking it. Matter of fact, he's giving you more Social Security. He's giving you more money every month. That's what Trump's trying to get you, more money every month." And the guy's like, "Oh, okay. I don't know why I'm here then." Like, is this crazy? Mr. You can come up if you have good signal, because I know that I don't know if you're on the road, and I don't want you to like fade in and out because you have important things to say. But if you can, do the best. Angel Berber, I'm on to take advantage of this break. Grid 1, just because you do not take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you. That's Pericles. That is correct. I learned that a long time ago in the school. Young Republicans are theater kids and not actually young. It's mostly 30. Wow, that's fucking crazy. I host a guy who talks shit for me for an hour like a bitch. I'm not really sure what you were trying to say there, Imperious, but I agree with Ben. If you're on a what do you call it, Glenn? Some kind of tour.
A tour?
Yeah, if he's on a
signing tour, camp. Oh, okay.
A what tour?
Book signing tour or what? I don't know.
I don't know. He's on some kind. If you're on a tour to campaign to somehow sound like crying tour. Yeah, if you're crying, that's cool. But I honestly don't have time for it. And I would, as much as I enjoy when you are actually, not all spurgy, and I enjoy having you up on the show. Right now, that's funny. Glenn, why do you host people that talk shit about other people and yet are afraid of me responding to that coon? Who's he talking about?
Who asked that?
Imperious.
Haven't I let him on the panel himself?
I think I don't know what he's talking about either. I'm a little lost with
most people that talk shit. And who doesn't talk shit? Everybody that speaks.
I had a whole stream the other night. You missed it. We'll do another one. So we're not going to do one Saturday, I don't think. We'll do half of one on Saturday, and then we got something else special coming for Saturday, I think. And I'm going to make the announcement here, or not the announcement. We're going to talk about it in just a couple minutes. I just want to get this going on. Looks like we've got the great Viking paradigm up in the house.
Oh man, it's funny.
What's that?
Viking, go ahead and give them the story from a couple weeks ago.
Which
You know,
one?
you
Sorry,
know the
there's been a
one.
lot going
You
on.
know the one.
No, I don't, honestly. I just woke up, and I also
Oh,
hear
you'd
your
have
mic
had your
coming through. It
Wheaties.
sounds like the demons are winning.
You're
Demons
really
are
muted.
winning. I am.
No, Viking.
Oh,
Oh,
He's
shit.
really muffled, like he's talking away from his microphone, like he is.
No, it's right here in front of me.
okay.
There, is
So
that better?
briefly, I had Viking and Imperius on my panel, and here's a perfect
Oh, that.
example.
Yeah,
Okay,
I kind of forgot about that, but I know what you're talking about now.
I'm gonna let Viking tell the rest of the story. I'm gonna be. Go ahead.
It was very simple. It was he came on and he started out by talking about, well, he didn't start out that way, but this is where I picked up on it, and I was just going like, what he was complaining about, like laying in bed with a girl and her like stealing your blankets, and then he was telling us a story about how one time he passed out drunk on her side of the bed and she bitched him out for it. And I got confused because this is on like Thor's fundraiser where we talk about, practical advice on how to have to deal with bullshit like that. So I'm going like, yo, what the fuck are you complaining about? Like, I don't have these problems, and I don't have these problems for a good reason. Same thing with a lot of guys on the panel at the time that have long-term relationships and don't have to deal with bullshit like that from girls because we don't spurg out. So that's like the TLDR version. Him and I went back and forth, and I just took it back around all the way back to the beginning. Like, dude, you're telling me you don't have problems with women, but yet the whole reason why this conversation happened was because you were complaining about things happening with women that you didn't like. And I'm like, I don't have those problems.
My biggest problem is my wife gets in the bed, and I have no idea how it happens, but her hands and feet are fucking ice.
You know why? Because she's a female and they're heartless.
Dude,
So
I don't know what goes on. Like, literally, like last 2:00. So my wife stays up late and watches these Chinese soap opera, lifestyle, fucking drama things that it puts me right out. Like, I just go to bed because I know that if I sit on the couch and watch, I'm just going to go to sleep anyway. So 2:00 in the morning, 1:45, whatever it was, literally. She crawls in bed. She's like, "Oh, I'm cold. And the next thing I know, I am like enveloped in icy talons of death. And I'm like, what the fuck? How the hell do you get to be this cold? Like, how is this even possible? And it literally, like, I was instantly like wide awake. Like, holy fuck, what's going on here?
Good. I have a good question for you.
Yeah, man.
And I need you to help me understand this because you and my dad have something in common. All right. Both of y'all have married Asian. Okay. And whatever your persuasion is, that's great. It's fine by me. But my dad was a cops watching, was it law or live arrest, a law, just like 48 hours, unsolved mysteries. That's the shit that he watched if he wasn't watching the news. All of a sudden, this man has these Korean melodramas on all day long with his girl, and he could not even tolerate English speaking, vagina monologue shows. Why do y'all like all of a sudden accept it when you get older? I don't know. Help me out here.
I will say that all of the ones that I've been able to kind of sit through and understand and follow, they're all like pretty based. Like, like it's not like American soap operas where it's all garbage. It's like there's always a lesson, a parable. There's always, it's all really like wholesome shit. But I don't understand. First of all, I don't speak Chinese, and I hate reading the subtitles. And they're so boring. So boring. But anyway, the whole thing was the icy cold hands and feet. Literally froze me to death. Like, I was instantly awake, and she went right to sleep. Like, it wouldn't have been a problem if she had like woken me up and then, like have like 30, 40 minutes of fun time and then go back to sleep. No, freezes me, passes out. I get woken up and I don't get fun time. This is not a good deal for me.
And she took 3/4 of the blankets, leaving you just enough to have one foot covered. And,
Right. Yeah, there you go.
and
Do
mad
you
at
want to
you for
address
taking over the
Imperious?
blankets.
Do you want to
Well,
address Imperious's super chat really quick? I don't want to
sure.
leave.
What does it say? I'm not reading the screen.
Oh,
I'm on my phone.
$2 came in from Imperious. What about Donovan, NIG, Coon, Glenn?
What about Donovan?
Yeah. Well, I guess you guys talk shit about Imperious for like 2 hours or some shit.
I didn't talk shit
You're
about
all
Imperious.
labias. I'm a big labia, and big labia matter.
I mean, if you're talking about when I had Donovan on and you wanted
Like
to
3
come
months
on,
ago?
yeah, and this was after Grid had Donovan on as a guest.
He did.
And Donovan, kind of took you to task about some things. Talking about that time, and you wanted to come on and have this, argument with him as if like this was like round two. That wasn't at the time or place because I had an agenda. I had a topic I was discussing. I was staying on task of the topic.
Yeah.
It wasn't Street Beefs Volume 4 YouTube edition. Go ahead and, come up with your grievances. If you were gonna be on task and be on topic and address the argument, not just what your overall opinion is of an individual, that would have been one thing. But you telegraphed exactly what you wanted to do and what you were planning on doing if you got up there. And
Well,
then
and
that would
that's
have derailed my show. So why
that's
would I
that's
bring
what
someone
the
on that's going to
problem
be a
was the other
derailment?
night. Even though it was a crap shit talking or trash talk Saturday, we were talking trash about specific things. Mister, I know you wanted to come up and say some stuff. I need probably 2 minutes away, so I'm going to cam down. You guys be cool, and I'll talk about good stuff, and I will be right back. Go with it, Mister.
Hey, can you hear me?
Can hear you fine. You're great.
Okay. Yeah.
Yo, what up, Mista?
Hey, good to see you, Glenn. I was praying for you and everyone. With
Thank you.
obviously the situation. There's a lot of people out there that are hurting right now. So, but as far as the topic, Grid was talking about, we have these foreign influencers that are paying money to get involved in our shit. Partially, it's our own government, and what we're seeing is the weeding out of these bad actors. I mean, he fired over 220,000 federal employees recently, which I was like ecstatic about because they don't really do anything. And over the weekend, I heard this monologue. And it was about what the government does, right? They just print money and they just hand out our wealth. That's pretty much all they do. So, in particular, I wanted to go over a few things real quick because some of this stuff, people, it's floating out there right now, but you might not have seen it. So the Wisconsin, court race that the Democrats spent like a shitload of money, upwards of 80 million, for a judicial court race in Wisconsin to get a foothold in a red state. That's really scary. And they already had I think it was 2 years ago, they had another judicial win in Wisconsin. So it'd be curious to see how that goes. And I'm going to say one more thing before everything starts branching out. But what's particularly interesting to me is these JFK files that dropped. Have any of you guys seen any of them or looked at any of them?
I have not had the opportunity to read any of it. I've caught a couple clips about people talking about them, but I haven't been able to dive into it.
Well, apparently in these newly released JFK files, one of the Kennedys in particular, there's stuff in there. Everyone's like, "Oh, we already knew this stuff." Well, not all of it. Kennedy had warned in, I think it was 1994, and this was in the files, of Biden being a traitor to the U.S. government. And I'm going to
Wait,
look more
what?
into that. Yeah,
We had
like
we had a Manchurian candidate, and it was more than Denzel.
well,
That's taking it back, bro. That's an old movie.
I know, it's a great movie.
The other part that was crazy was, everyone knew our CIA was involved and everything like that, but what they didn't know was our elected or unelected military leaders went rogue. Like, it wasn't just the
It was
CIA.
suspected, though. It was suspected because they wanted to go to war.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, and I kind of connect that with what's happening in recent times with General Milley and whatnot. I'm like, something's not right with that regarding our military connections to some of these bad things. I'm going to be looking more into that.
Hey,
But they
let me
talk
ask
like
you, Mr. Mister.
they've been wanting to go to war like since when? I mean, we've already known that like America loves war. Say like war is
Well,
our business.
Our generals feel like it's job
Our
security.
business is war.
Yeah. Mr. I got to ask you this, Mr. Mister, because I bet you have a really solid opinion on this and have read into it enough. What's with all of the claims now that Israel was deeply involved in the assassination of Kennedy?
Yeah, well, there was parts to that regarding the that was also in the documents, the new JFK file dump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and apparently Mossad, and here's the thing: are there connections to where people are saying that? Yes, but what's different in recent times is that it's being used as a cudgel against the good people in the government, which is kind of strange, right? It's like, okay, well, if you have these bad actors that are infiltrating our government, why are they all overwhelmingly going to one area? And not only that, but the thing that really pisses me off about that shit is when all these people get together and they're like, well, he's I put all that stuff in the Discord about the false Russian narrative claims. Remember that?
Yeah.
So they go, oh, he lies. It's like, oh, he waves his hand and says, I'm the best businessman in history. I'm saving more money than anyone in history. When you compare these lies to the lies of the JFK file dump, the pro-Palestine influencers that aren't even American citizens that are infiltrating our colleges, all this shit, it's not even close. I'm tired of hearing these assholes. Oh, he lies. He's a liar and he's a bad guy. It's like, whatever. You guys are pieces of shit.
Well,
Sorry,
well, help me out here. Because I think that you probably have, like I said, you've probably looked more into this than anyone I personally know. So yes, Mossad was involved, but they weren't directly involved in the assassination itself. They were peripheral, correct? The way I read it is they were peripheral, right? CIA was the one. The CIA and the military, and by military I mean the generals who Kennedy was basically saying we're not going to go. We're not. They were pissed at him about the Cuban Missile Crisis and the way he handled that. They thought that he should have been taken a lot tougher stance against against Russia, and they were really pissed off with his stance on whether or not they should go into or continue forward in Vietnam and into basically picking a fight with everybody in the region for whatever reason. I don't know why. So the CIA was the main actors, right? Along with the generals. I just find I just can't make the connection that other people are with the Israelis having Mossad peripherally involved, and basically, I think all that they did was provide some information, right?
Yeah. Well, what I'll say about this.
What's
what
that?
What I'll say about this, and there are some very good faith content creators like Myron out there who will, give the information unbiased and whatnot, and you kind of look at it and say like, well, this is legit, but at the end of the day, as far as corruption goes, our power is undeniable as a country, right? It's only the influence we let in to cause harm. uh you're telling me this little country has that much power over us? I'm like, to
Well,
an
that's my
extent,
stance.
yeah. There's no way. We're like looking at all the interlocking connections. Now there have been at times where they've done some bad things, and I'll grant that. And I'm like, yeah, they're extending a hand saying either we need help or we're causing some issues. The Epstein thing and stuff like this. But there's people in our government that allow that shit to happen. That's where I'm at. Because let's face it, if we want, we could take our foot at any time and just be like, squash them, no problem.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it comes down to the nuance of the difference between influence and actual control, right? A lot of people like to assume that there's actual control when what I'm seeing demonstrated over and over again from people who actually do bring evidence is influence, whether it's through money, whether it's through relationships, networking, word of mouth type deals that we can't ever really get a clear picture of. It's just influence, right? So yes, do they have an influence over the system? Well, certain people do. And any religion has extremists in it. Any group has extremists in it. So it's just like if you
Yeah.
point to certain bad actors, like, hey, these guys are taking it too far. Yeah, you're going to get that in any group, But the thing is that a lot of the assertions are more broad than that, going back to the good old days.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. The influence is
When you say good old days, are you like talking about when like what do you mean?
The 40s, trying to be cheeky.
Oh, okay. I just was wondering, making sure that you weren't talking about
The rhetoric evolves, but it doesn't change much over time. Like I said, people ask me where I stand on this issue. It's like, I'm never going to be standing on the side with motherfuckers that are planting swastikas on things. It's that simple. It's just like, I don't care what the reason that they come up with the excuse. I understand what that actually means. I understand the history and things like that a little bit better than seems most people in public education do, because I actually read the things and how this stuff transpired rather than just like glossing over it. Because I actually wanted to know, like, this is one of the worst things that happened in history. I want to know more. Like I said, I've said this before. I'm that motherfucker in the Starship Troopers movie when they ask you, do you want to know more? I'm slamming the fucking button, yes.
yeah. I mean, to your point, they want to eliminate what is the objective truth, right? So you go looking for a proper definition on something, you're going to get like 8 or 9 definitions.
Yeah, so this is why I'm asking these questions, where I'm asking, and I'm provoking the discussion. I have friends, and I have one friend in particular who he's yeah, really, and he's like really been on this kick lately that the Israelis control everything. They have dirt on everybody. They rule the world. They own all the financial institutions. They control all of the money. Blah blah blah. We're all just puppets. It's their world. We live in it. So, I keep maintaining to him that that's impossible because, first of all, if that were the case, that Israel had dirt on, well, let's just say they had dirt on Trump. How long do you think that dirt would still exist? Because the man can literally order an airstrike and destroy whatever he wants to destroy.
Well,
and
dome, they got that dome
and look at what happened to Epstein. Epstein was supposed to have only had information on, a group of politicians, and that was it. And what happened to him? He himself, right?
Allegedly, after failing.
He slipped. He slipped and fell.
He self ended, supposedly, in a room by himself that was supposed to be monitored.
Where the security guard fell asleep and the cameras
Where
weren't
the
working
security
after they
camera
moved
fell
him
off-
to
didn't-
self-offing watch. Yeah, there's just too many odd convenience coincidences happening in that situation.
So if it were the case that, say, what's that senator that literally just published a declaration? And actually, I don't like this guy, but I like what he did. He literally said, "Yes, I took money from AI Pack." But it was like a very true. It was like $7,000 or something. For over like 2 or 3 years. I think total he took like 20 or 30 grand in campaign contributions. Now he doesn't know exactly who those are from, right? But it's from PAC. And he's like, but I've never changed my position on Israel. I support them. I believe that they have a right to exist like any other nation, and blah blah blah, whatever else he said. And like they didn't have to pay me. And I think recently he literally said they didn't have to pay me to say what I've been saying for 20 years, but I'm glad they gave me the money. So I was like, right. I mean, come on. How is this? How is it like this?
Well, when you say like Israel has a right to exist, like, not every nation had the right to exist.
Well, all right.
You think about it, because there were nations that were here that they're not here no more.
I actually really agree with that. And my actual, and one of the interesting things that I think, and I don't know how many people are going to agree with me on that, probably not very many, but we need to quit propping nations up if they can't.
Thank you.
If they can't sustain themselves, right? So, for example, Israel does a pretty damn good job of protecting themselves, right? And even against Iran, which is a much bigger country. I don't have to agree with their tactics. I don't have to agree with their religion. I don't have to agree with, honestly, I don't have to agree with jack shit. All I really have to do is say, they have a right to do what they want to do. I'm not going to impede it. And as long as they pay, they want our support. They want weapons. Sure, pay cash. And Israel generally does. They want money from us. I have a problem with that, but so far, Israel is one of the few countries that if we give them money, they give it back to us. Now, they don't always give it back to us as cash, and we don't always give it to them as cash, but they will eventually pay us back. They'll give us military technology, or they will, whatever. They'll make it right. So I'm
waiting for them to start making it right by sending some of their hot massage chicks over here as
they sent us Gal Gadot. What more do you want, bro?
No, give them. They need to replenish our lack of traditional conservative women. Okay, come on now.
Okay, all right. I mean, I don't disagree with that.
Well, if you're comparing
that,
that,
really truly conservative, it's faux conservative, like you see in the United States right now.
Yeah,
I'm a trad wife.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's faux conservative, but at least it's more believable. Okay, it's something like you actually think that it might be happening. Like it's fake. You're watching a movie, but it's not like you don't feel like you're in K-pop.
Oh, so you support OnlyFans now? Got it.
Wait, what?
Whoa, that wait, huh?
So the dream. You gotta live the fantasy, man. Oh, she's really into me. Oh, that stripper really loves me.
The fantasy.
Well, air quotes. What is modern day TradCon, right? That's what we're talking about.
Well, all right, we can get into that in just a second.
There's no such thing as TradCons.
Lindsay Smith, Ben in the chat is not Ben Thorpe. He has been up, and he will actually probably come back up later, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. We've had great discussions. He is actually far more funny than Ben Thorpe and less of a pain in the dick than Ben Thorpe. So, there you go.
I'm curious.
But he is a good troll.
How-
He is a good troll. He is a good. I will give him that. He trolls well. Right.
I'm kind of curious, Kieran. Like, how does Ben Thorpe opinion your dick? Did he give you some? Did you guys do something? And you got a
No, you know what it is
cream
is
that you
that
need to use now?
literally every time I hear Ben Thorpe speak, I kind of want to punch myself in the dick just to remind myself never, ever to have a daughter like that. So
Viking, did it sound like he said something about masturbation?
no,
I don't know. I still hear the demons winning through your mic. So
what is up with your what are you on your cell phone, like out in the wind or something?
No, well, I'm on my cell phone, but
it does sound better, but
in the
originally it
wind.
sounded like there were 4 or 5 different people talking on your phone with you.
well, you know, I got like 27 people in my head, and one of them's deaf. So
I did not know that, and I'm not sure that I'm glad I do now.
Hey, Grid.
Yes, sir.
You know who Ben Thorpe reminds me of? Did you ever see that movie Christmas Vacation? The brother that's like emptying the sewage from the camper into the sewer, and he's drinking a bottle of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
No, but it sounds like Ben Thorpe. It does sound like that. You know what Ben Thorpe reminds me of? Ben Thorpe reminds me of the guy that wants to be like the cool guy, but he's just never quite made it halfway there. Like he starts the adventure, but he gets a couple of feet in, and he's like, fuck this. This is too hard. $5 comes in from chairman of the board, Mr. Anson Knowles. How much to kick off Viking? I don't trust bald people. Look at that beauty. That's a bald guy. That's Agent 47 up there.
I'm not asking anybody to trust me. I tell people all the time, I can be your best friend, your worst enemy. I'm not trying to make that choice for you. You make that choice on your own. Like, you can decide to trust me if you want. I'm not asking anybody to trust me. I'm just saying I've made a lot of mistakes. Going to bring it full circle back to the original question about what Trump and Elon is doing. And so I tell people, it's like, I used to be what you'd call a progressive leftist. I voted for Obama, not once, but twice. Why did I vote for Obama? Because the organization he created to get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse. So what Obama and Biden said they were going to do, Trump and Elon are actually doing.
Right.
So anybody asks me, I can't escape the mind-blowing irony of that. Like, that is what it is. This is the reality we live in.
That was a misconception from the super chat. Anson's just trolling because he pretends that he's a pro-feminist, but he actually ran for office. He's a staunch Republican. He's just trolling. He doesn't believe any of that shit.
He claims to be a libertarian, but
I think Anson is like the perfect conservative.
I think Anson hasn't seen.
Let me tell you why. I can
ahead.
explain it.
Good.
He publicly, thinks that sex work is bad and this, that, and the other. But you know what? He has a private nonprofit organization out of his house for them. And, he has that heart, that forgiving heart, and lets them come over and sees the real human in them as he
yeah, he does. That's
he's what
that's like every conservative that got busted for some type of affair.
The thing about Anson Knowles is he is I think he has come full circle and completely to terms with his degeneracy.
No, well, he's one of those guys that acted on the what's happening in modernity. I mean, he's what we call the sneaky effer, right? He'd be like, I'm pro AB, but he's really not, and he just goes in there to hook up.
Right? Yeah. No, you're right. I think you're right about that.
Basically,
Anson
when it comes down to it,
really
Anson is a 007 for the sexual marketplace.
Yeah,
he infiltrates those feminists, and he gets us the intel that we need by any means necessary, and usually it requires his pants off. So he doesn't want to do these things, but he does it for our own good.
He is a fan of the big boob crowd.
And hairy armpit
and
organization.
hairy armpits. Weird at the same time, but still, you know, that's where he's at. That's where he's at. So I don't know why he doesn't trust bald people.
The lore's pretty wild over here. You all call me a degen, but you know, I seem to fit right in with everybody.
Anson's pretty much bald too. You know, I mean, he got a couple, you know, strands of hair hanging in from the 80s still, but you know, he's pretty bald.
Well, you can't shame Viking because that dude looks like Agent 47 for real. Like any minute now, I expect him to bust out a pair of AMT hardballer 45s and go to work.
It's funny, the regiment guys, when I met them in Las Vegas, said the same thing. They were calling me Agent 47.
Yeah. It's interesting because I actually, I was, you know, of course, I'm a member of many different firearm and firearm accessory blogs and pages and all that. Somebody actually posted an Agent 47 rig with the 2 long daggers. You know, that in the movie has swords, but these are 2 long daggers in the back, and then the 2 AMT 45s.
I like the scope on your second weapon on the rack behind you.
Yeah, so that's it's a standard length scope, but that's when you see a scope like that, that's a sunshade on the end right there, and it has to be that long so you don't get the sunlight up in there. It is actually a really good. That is a really good optic. So,
agree with that take in chat. Hank Hill of firearms. Hell yeah. You're not talking about propane and propane accessories. You're talking about firearms and firearm accessories.
That's what I do. I'm a man of firearms and firearms accessories. $4.99 comes in from Ben. We talk about covert feminists, but we need to talk about covert degens too. I feel like you kind of lump all those in together, but what do I know? I'm just the host.
Well, that's why I fancy myself an overt degen. I'll tell you all the shit I'm doing. I know my vices, but I just like, you know, they always have that little thing at the end of the beer commercials. Oh, drink responsibly. Yeah, same thing. Be a degen responsibly. Like there is legal, moral ways you can be a degen that aren't going to cause other people harm and fuck up other people's freedoms.
It's true. It's true.
When they mean like
$5. Anson asks again. So how much to kick Viking? I missed the dollar amount. I don't trust men with multiple monitors. I have 3 monitors up myself.
This is that again. I'm getting censored now. This man is like, oh shit, this guy's bald. He's got a bat cave of computers. Like shit.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. He knows too much.
I got a question about the covert covert degens. You mean like normal people?
Right?
Yeah, well, what's the alternative, right? I mean, to quote Dennis Leary, what's the future? It's a 45-year-old man sitting in his basement with headphones singing "I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener."
Oh, from Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
That's right.
It's kind of funny too.
Metropolis celebrates members. This dude gifts out the memberships. He is him and Kissy Cat and somebody else have membership drives on the weekends, and it rocks out, which is great because I really appreciate the memberships. Actually mean a lot to me. I like people to be members. I like to see that whole chat green, so that's cool. So I actually talking about covert feminist. Viking, did you catch the other day when Rolo was on CT and we were talking about Pearl and why he doesn't like Pearl and all that?
No,
I got to be quiet now.
It was very cordial. It's not like I was going after him or anything, but I just wondered. I just wanted to get your opinion. Because one of the things he talked about was how Andrew went after Tommy Lahren. Is it Tommy or Tommy Lahren?
I think it's Tommy.
I think it's Tommy.
I mean, if you're not fucking her, does it really matter?
Tommy Lahren. I may or may not know her ex too, so I understand why she's the way she is.
You understand why the way she is the way she is?
Yeah.
because I remember, so I had to think about this because I kind of agreed with Andrew, but I was like, I remember when Tommy Lahren was like way less feminist. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You guys remember
but
that?
she hit the
Yes,
wall.
when
And
she
remember, the
had
wall
more
isn't an
good
age; it's a
quality
mindset.
D.
I can only listen to one of you guys, so pick one.
Listen to him. He's actually probably smarter than me.
Okay.
No, he just has a better computer system.
Well, I was just saying that she just did the kind of the stereotypical thing that a lot of women do, that the red pill talks about, hitting the wall, right? And everybody thinks, oh, it's when you get less attractive and stuff like that. Not always. Comes down to your mindset shift. And you see girls typically go through that mindset shift where they're going around, they're just fucking all the chads, you know, especially when they've got access and they're attractive like that. And then when they realize, oh shit, it's not all it's cracked up to be, and I want like something long term, that's what she did. She finally settled down. But she followed the same hot girl summer pattern and then hitting the wall, that, getting alpha widowed and all that stuff. And was typically, as her ex described, she's more or less intolerable in person, which is not surprising when you see her interactions.
Yeah, I saw a monologue with her on it. She has her a show. I forget who it's with on Fox, but they were talking about this subject, and she was speaking about how her and her, air quote, high class girlfriends are disgusted with the, dating pool and everything, and the caliber of men. So to your point, I mean, it's out there. You can find it.
That's interesting. I'm
Do
gonna.
you want me to tell you what I think like she was really complaining about?
What's that?
I'm gonna tell you what I think she was really complaining about. Like when she says like the caliber of men, what it was is that these guys were projecting to be at a level that they were misrepresenting themselves. Okay, basically, they had really good brand marketing, but it it didn't last. Like it was supposed to last like 16 hours without having to recharge the battery. These guys lasted 45 seconds, and really, that's what they were complaining about.
I doubt that. That could be a component, but based on what you saw with her and Andrew Wilson's interaction, what was her expectation? That men should just be all giving in the relationship and that the woman shouldn't have an expectation. She never answered that question. She danced around it all day, so I'd assume that her and her group of friends are some of these boss babe trad wives that have this mindset.
Yes.
They were spoiled by their daddies, never had
Yep.
to really contribute to the family. And they might have had a job or something like that, but all the corners were buffered and helicopter parented for them. So they were spoiled into this mindset.
I would
Think
really
about
like
this.
to know if she. So my understanding, and I could be wrong about this, because honestly, I only knew about her when she was on Fox or whatever it was back in the day. She had her own little show, and then they canceled her back during the Great Purge. And she had, they basically kicked her and what's his name? It doesn't matter. But she was in part of that purge, and then she had to go out and do her own thing, and then whatever. And she got married to that. Wasn't it a baseball player first, or a football player, something like that?
She's married to a baseball player now.
Well, who was the first guy?
I don't know.
I think he was an athlete too. Anyway, so before I forget about this, $1.99 comes in from Ben. How many before plastic surgery? She was like a 2 of 10. I don't know if that was before or after I saw her like 10 years ago on Fox, where she was part of the Tucker Carlson and all that kind of group. But so my I don't know. I thought a lot of what she said was pretty good, but the more I think about it, the more I have thought about it, she never talked about personal like growth, or how you should act in life, or any of that sort of thing. It was basically, she just talked about politics and really kind of left the rest alone. And so maybe that's why so many people have assumed for so long that she is this really based traditional-ish female. Now, certainly a high. I'll give her that. Certainly, she's done well at what she's endeavored to do.
Well, you got to thank her doctors. I mean,
I'm sure the list is long.
Well, she's got the boss babe attitude, so of course she's going to be able
That's
to be
actually where
competitive in work.
the key thing. When people say like, oh, like she's not conservative or she's not like a real Christian. No, actually, she's parroting, and this is what's funny to me, like because Andrew pushing her on this, and why she feels so confident in what she's saying is because she's parroting literally what pastors are preaching from the pulpit. I mean, they use the story of Hosea in the Bible to really depict exactly what she is saying. Hosea could not have a standard for a wife that that she was to give him to him. No, she cheated on him, ran off with different men, got sold into prostitution, had kids by another man, and God told him like you need to go save that woman, be with that woman. There's no standard there, and that like lesson, or they take from that story that women don't have to give. Like, how dare you as a man think that you are supposed to expect, or a woman's supposed to do something for you. You need to do these things regardless if she is doing good to you or not. That's what they get from that story.
Yeah.
And that's what's being disseminated out there.
I live in the Northeast, so I've seen, they're like a dime a dozen out here. Where you walk into a bar after a rough week, if you're in the city, you see them. They're broken heels, drinking highballs and whatnot, and of course, you have to be like this, a fairy tale king to even come over and talk to him, which is fine, I guess. I really don't give a shit, but you know, they're everywhere, women like that. And lucky for Grid that he found a woman before she started doing well.
I always believe that that's how you have to do it. And I've talked about this a lot, right? Like there's this like curve that I think men miss. Timmy, no one's belching. Glenn's mic is possessed. We're not really sure which person has possessed it, but somebody has. Natalia Natty
That's Fred.
Just gifted 10 memberships, which is weird because Natty always gets the memberships, and she's always like anytime you clip something, Natty is in there getting that sweet membership. So really appreciate that, Natalia. Really, really do. I'm glad you're watching the show too. That's awesome. Glenn bought a mic. I wouldn't let him get away with that. That's mean. That's mean. I feel like that Tommy Lahren is like a typical successful female of her time.
Yeah, she's a modern woman
that chose her kind of work over doing anything else, and I'm just so and I've said this before that if you marry a girl and you're young and you're 18, 19, 20, you don't have anything, or you're in college or whatever, and you build everything together. I think that's a relationship that stands a modicum of chance for success, because you appreciate what you brought to the table, and you appreciate what she brought to the table, and therefore it's a mutual thing in most cases. And I also think that like I did, I was older and I married 11 years younger, and my wife, I was successful at that point. My wife was not. My wife had never even had an actual job. She'd just gone to school. So she, to some degree, when she hit the workforce, it taught her a lot. And so, and I was thinking about this earlier today, is like, it's hard. I don't understand why any man would do it, because the more a woman gets into being this boss babe mentality, the harder and harder it is to to make sense of it, right? The
Yeah,
harder
because they
and
become the men they want to marry. That's the key thing. And then the men that they actually want to marry don't put up that bullshit. Like, that's why I say the high performers that they actually did date, right? They didn't tolerate their boss babe attitude because it was intolerable.
Sure.
You know, that was the actual word choice too. She was intolerable to be around.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, so the guys they end up with typically that do stick around, then like Glenn said, they find those guys to be lacking. Why? Because they're not the true high performers that they really want. But they don't understand that by acting like a man and being competitive like a man with an actual man, it's a turnoff.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't matter how hot you are, eventually it's a turnoff.
Well, and you know, there's a reason that there's the old mantra of no matter how hot she is, no matter how just smoking, sexually, desirable she is, some dude somewhere is sick of her shit.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this
And it's
on
probably me.
we talked about this on Glenn's channel a couple times, but and I was in a successful marriage, and to your point, Grid, it being like a you have to like grow together and everything like that. But one of the shit tests that I thought was a good tell is how she reacts when family members are talking about you. Does she go like, hey, he's a piece of shit or whatever, or he does this? My brother was in a 5-year divorce nightmare, and that was one of the things. Like, she would say, oh, your brother's this and that, and I'm like, my wife would never say that shit about me. Never.
So
I need you, Grid, and the Briar Wolf to stop flexing. Okay. Like, you guys stop like, until they come out and they start talking good about you, I don't care. Stop bragging. The rest of us have had to deal with this
One of the
line.
things I think is really telling is, and I've been out to events, and you meet some dude's wife or girlfriend or whatever, and dude like goes to the restroom, and it's always a warning sign to me if the first thing that the girl starts talking about is, well, I really hope he gets this new promotion. I really hope he gets this. I really hope and it's just like this, like what he is right now today is not enough.
Yep.
Right. Like and the worst thing is to just kind of be hanging around with some people and here's some woman running down her husband or boyfriend or whatever, talking about, he never comes home on time, or, he's just not making as much money as he could. He has so much potential, but he just wasted at that stupid job, or any number of things like that. It's nuts to me. First of all, why a woman would ever say such things in public. But second, that she would say them at all outside of her home to her husband. You know what I mean? I have
what a huge
problem.
red flag is to me? I mean, I like that.
Give me one sec. I have actually no problem if my wife comes to me and says, "Hey, you need to stop fucking off on this podcast if it's not going to actually make money, because it's a lot of time that you spend away from me and the kids, and you're really not getting anywhere." Right? I have no problem with that. Right?
I do. Don't be telling her how to live your life.
I think that's a fair statement. Now, I may disagree with that. I may say, "Hey, I get it. I understand the way you feel. I understand why you feel that way, but I see it a different way, and this is what we're going to do." But I appreciate her coming to me and saying something like that. What I would never appreciate, the honesty. I believe that you have to have that honesty, and you ought to be able to tell each other things like that, back and forth. But if she went to her friend and said, "I can't stand that he does this podcast. It's a waste of time. It's never going to go anywhere. And he curses online, and I'm embarrassed to even be associated with it." That would be like, well, that'd be the last. I mean, honestly, there's nothing left to say at that point.
Grid, if your wife ever does that and says that to you, privately, you need to let her go. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life, okay?
Right,
That's
but
the
I
work
mean,
of the devil.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting, right? I mean, this is it's interesting to me that how many women run down their men publicly.
Yeah. My girl made a mistake where she dipped her toe in that water at one point when
And
she
then
was
she lost
frustrated
the
with
foot.
me early on in the relationship, where one of her sister's friends basically got fired from her job because my sister was working there at the time and was the assistant manager, and called her out for literally not doing her job and for yelling at customers as well.
Ooh.
So she got multiple write-ups and got fired. But what does this girl do? Oh, she starts telling, because she can't do anything about my sister, she starts telling my girl's sisters that I'm doing all this crazy shit in town. No evidence, just accusations. That, things that, it's like making accusations that I was at this party or that party. And my girl's like, wait, you were with me? Like, what the fuck is she saying? That sort of thing, and that I was, doing all sorts of stuff. And it was implying that it was with minors as well, like drinking and things like that. And I'm like, oh, that's awfully interesting. But the thing is, at the time, we were kind of fighting here and there. My girl, like, didn't entertain that, but she started letting a couple of frustrations slip. And then she was shocked at how that wildfire got out of control very quickly. And a bunch of her sisters just used that as confirmation. Yep, he needs to be hated. And then they would sit there and talk shit about me with her. And then she's sitting there trying to defend me, getting frustrated and doesn't understand why it happened. And she ended up telling me what was going on because she was so frustrated. I'm just like, yeah, you kind of did that one to yourself and me, technically. Good job. You might want to not do that again. If you're frustrated with me about something, come to me and talk to me about it. And if you think that I won't hear you out and that we can't figure this out, you need to leave my ass. like that's what it comes down to. You need to get rid of me and not hang on to me if I am that big of a problem for you. But a lot of women, they're either being dishonest with themselves or they're being dishonest with others, depending on the circumstance. And that's what I see is fed into it with other relationships I've seen go like that, where they'll sit there, like you said, they'll more or less trauma dump about how bored they are in their relationship. And it's usually because the guy is missing some key leadership principles and communication principles, and it hasn't been addressed.
Yeah. And so if you guys ever see Viking's wife and you wonder why she has a wooden leg, like he said, the cost was she dipped her toe into it and she lost her foot. Okay, there's consequences. Okay.
Yeah, she had to put up with that for years, of her family low key trying to hate on me about and being hypercritical of everything that I would do, even though they knew nothing about what was actually going on. So she would tell me like, oh, I'm sick of this shit. Why won't they just let it go? Just like, yeah, because at the time you wouldn't let it go. And they're on your side. They're not on my side. They're your family. That's actually a good thing. You wouldn't want them to be taking my side. Obviously, bullshit is bullshit. But the thing is like, how would you feel if I was on some bullshit and your family took my side? Like, your family knows better than that. They're going to be loyal to their family over this guy that they barely know. And that's part of why they were making shit up. So what did I do? She was saying, oh, I don't want to spend time with the family. She wanted to cut herself off. I'm the one that made her not cut herself off from her family. Made her go to family get-togethers and taught her like, oh, when they telling you this and that other thing, trying to guilt trip you, just don't let it bother you. And you'll see over time that eventually they'll let it go and things will get better. And that's exactly what happened.
So I got to ask, did you guys watch any of the whatever last night? I only got to see the first few minutes, first half hour, maybe something like that. You guys watch it at all? It may not even been the first half hour, but I got to watch about a half hour of it. And basically it was this girl who is supposedly Muslim talking about defending the fact that she has slutty ass pictures on
I caught it.
Instagram.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what I was saying before, and to Glenn's point earlier about everything being political. They don't know it, but it's infiltrated everything. So my preference and my reality and my truth. That's exactly what that is. It's a great clip, by the way, from Jim Bob.
I haven't seen it yet, but it was so weird. This girl is supposedly Muslim, and literally it acknowledges that the pictures that she has up are literally against her beliefs, but
Right.
they're
By
her
Islam.
truth. They're her truth and her empowerment. She's empowering herself with these stupid pics that are just absolutely horrid. They're horrid for anyone, but let alone a Muslim. I was literally like in one of the chats, I was like, Brian's gonna get this girl killed because because the Muslim boys are gonna get the rocks. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
they
saying?
get the Mia Khalifa treatment with all the death threats and everything. Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Did you? There was a singer. Do you guys remember this singer? I don't remember her name, but she was. I think she was Iranian or Libyan, and she was over here in the West, and she was basically acting like a rock star, right? The skimpy ass outfits, boobies hanging out, ass hanging out.
What about booties and asses?
Yeah, that's what I knew you were awake. And but it was this girl. Man, I wish I could remember her name, but she kind of flaunted all of the Muslim traditions, I guess, or laws, and just act like it didn't matter. And then she went back to I think it was Libya, and for some reason she really thought that it wasn't a big deal. They arrested her at the airport and stoned her ass to death.
Yeah.
After they like did a bunch of other like stuff I can't say on,
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well, like you said, that's the part a lot of people don't understand the beliefs that they support.
Yeah.
Right. And the belief system is pretty strict about those sort of things. But this is the thing. This is the same way that women more or less got Christianity the way it is that, yeah, you don't have to change the doctrine. You don't have to change the text. All you have to do is change the hearts and the minds of the people by the people not adhering. And that's why they have such harsh punishments in those places, is because they understand the slippery slope. It's just like there is a slippery slope.
Sure.
Now, how far you slide is, that's the real question. But the thing is, there is a slippery slope that you can go down in terms of, adhering to religious rules and principles. It's just like what we're seeing right now in the United States. It's like we had all these laws on the books against illegal immigration. They just weren't being enforced. So people were just doing what they wanted to. Why? Because they were being allowed to, because they were giving themselves permission to just break the rules. So you see the same thing, across the board. That's how you make changes to these systems incrementally. Because I've had lots of Muslim friends tell me like, oh yeah, our religion can never change. But I'm literally watching it change in real time. You just gave an example that I would give. It's like, yeah, that's viewed, what happened to her is monstrous, obviously, and it's viewed as ass backwards, but they have somewhat valid reasoning behind why they would do that. And they see what happens in the West. They see that wherever the internet goes and this stuff is allowed, that their religious principles get erased, and it's happening in real time. But a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that these things can happen the way that they're happening.
Well, I mean, for
I
sure.
always find it funny though. Like, don't you guys find it funny? I find it humorous. Like, like there was a gays for like Gaza, right? Or gays for like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Gays for Palestine, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this shit is hilarious because it's like, if you're gay, go over there and see what happens. They're testing your ability to fly off of buildings. You're supporting them. I'm like, please, this is entertaining.
I don't. So there was this there's this thing about that. I saw this 2 years ago. I didn't realize that you can be gay in a Muslim country. They'll just cut your nuts off. They literally like castrate you.
Why would you even say that? Ouch.
Right, but I mean, that's the thing, man. I was like,
well, that's a funny thing, Grid. Like You know, you mentioned that
I didn't
stuff about
realize
how.
that. I didn't realize that because I was like, because I thought they put gays to death, right? Like, well, we've all heard the stories of them like walking them off the cliff or the wall of the city or
It
whatever.
says throw them off rooftops. That's
Yeah,
what
throw them
they.
off rooftops. We all heard about that, right? So
You
I
guys,
actually
that's
thought,
science though. That's science. They were testing gravity. Okay,
yeah,
they were testing gravity.
I actually thought that's what they did, but I don't know how this popped up in whatever fucking search I was doing, but it came out that, or it just, this article is like, no, you can be gay in it. You can be gay there. The problem is that you're going to have your nuts cut off. Like they'll literally, like if you're not going to use them, you shouldn't have them. I was like, yikes. I mean, based.
If you don't use them, you
But
lose them.
yikes. All right, $4.99 comes in from Ben. When they stone, do they throw them or hold them? Asking for a friend. I don't know. I'm not really sure. That's kind of weird. $5 comes in from Anson Knowles, chairman of the board. Prideful knowledge being accepted as normal is the problem with the culture, not feminism or Marxism. Even y'all do it. Me is everywhere.
Well, I get it. I'm everywhere. You see me on all your YouTube channels, Anson. Okay, just chill.
No, it's both. It's not one or the other. It's actually both of what he said.
Okay. Good talk. So anyway, I didn't realize that. I really honestly, yeah, you don't use them, you lose them. I didn't realize that I mean, let me just put this out there to you guys, because I'm sure you're all perfectly wonderful human beings. But if you were a gay guy in a Muslim country and they caught you and you were given the choice, you're going to walk off the short side of a long building, or you get castrated. Where are you going? What are you doing? What's your pick? What's your pick?
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel. Okay.
I'd relocate. That's what I would do.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
The minute you realize that, hey, I'm not like the other boys, I'm moving. Oh, well, I mean, that could explain a lot, actually, why we have so many Muslim hairdressers. But I hadn't really thought of it that way. That explains a lot, maybe. Okay. I might be out of my only two options for that. Yeah, I'm out. I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to peace out of the country. I'd be like, you know what? It's been fun, but I'm out. I gotta go. I gotta go somewhere else. I really, really don't feel like having my my nards cut off and my head smashing into a rock after a long walk off a short wall or tall wall, whatever. You get what I mean.
Well, I got to drop off. I'm about to roll out. So thanks for having me up.
Hey man,
It's
good to see you
talking
again. Always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Later, Glenn. Viking.
So Glenn, what's up with your show? Are you coming back anytime soon? Glenn.
Hold on. Hold your horses. I got people to talk to.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry, guys. I'm really famous and really busy. Talking to all these like amazing rich people that want my time, and I charge them like 10,000 an hour.
Yeah, it's
for
tough.
you, I give it to you free. So
it's tough.
Just be
tough
grateful.
being you. I get it. It's tough being you.
But what's going on with my show? I am coming back. I'm just trying to navigate right now. Like I said, I'm gonna get ready to go to Vegas again today, for the show that I do out there that I produce.
Okay.
And so it's And we're also opening the studio out there, so I'm a part of the building of the new studio rooms. And once that kind of settles down, I'll be coming back more regularly.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, I'm just not forcing anything
Okay.
because I just don't want to do subpar content.
Gotcha.
I just don't want to just like come on a show and just throw it by a whim and see what sticks to the wall. And yeah, no, I want to be a little bit more organized and stuff.
Okay.
So, I shall make a return though. Don't worry.
Well, I got so I know I broached this to you last night, right? I told you this is something's got to happen. So
I
as
love
we
this
all
idea.
know, first of all, I got $5 from chairman of the board. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a kick a Viking pop? He's really in the kick the Viking.
The
You know
fact
what,
that he
The
Anson?
wants
super
to
chat's
lick
coming.
Vikings,
You know
kind
what,
of weird.
Anson? If you super chat $150, I will kick Viking. And he won't even be mad about it.
Yeah, I won't even be mad about it. See, the thing is, if I get offended, like, I lose. As long as I'm not offended, I never lose.
That's right. Yeah. That's funny. So you guys all know Verbal Combat, right? The show Verbal Combat that Easy does that we all love.
Never heard of it. Nope.
Glenn actually won there once long before he was like persona non grata for some bullshit reasons. You know, it's a show that I've been a part of occasionally, despite the fact that the host, for some reason, decides to randomly be a complete ass and dick to random people for no reason. I'm sure it makes sense in his head, but that's okay. So the problem is that it hasn't been very regular lately. I'm sure Viking Paradigm will tell you that one thing a show that needs for success is, well, regularity. People want to know when they can expect to see you online, when you may or may not be there. People want to know that. And if you're not going to show up, it's really tough, right? And I certainly hope that Easy gets his shit together and starts so you can go do stuff like that. But I really like the debate, and so Saturday night I'm gonna do a round. So we're gonna do my show first for the first like 2 hours or maybe an hour and a half. And then we're going to do a roundtable debate. We're working on the format right now. I say we, there's a couple other people involved here. We're going to do it on my channel. This is not meant to replace Verbal Combat. I hope you go Friday nights and go hang out with Easy. But it is meant to be cool and a good time. So it'll be a roundtable debate, just like VK, and it's a variety of topics, Beth. And not only do you get to debate, we'll have the same kind. We're going to do a menu kind of like Sarah does. Kick, $5 to kick this person or what. We'll do all of the circus party tricks with some editing of circus. The sideshow tricks. And the winner and the runner-up will get paid a percentage of the super chats the show makes. Right. Mainly because I don't like it.
What's with this participation trophy shit?
Well, because jackasses will sit there and they'll get down to being the last two, and they'll just throw the debate and split the money, and I don't like that. So you get more money if you win. You get less money if you don't put forth the effort.
Well, if they do that, then neither of them should get anything.
I know, but you can't prove that, right?
You don't have to. It's your show.
Well, that's true. I don't have to give anybody any money, but I think this is a fair. We had the same problem in racing, and that was one of the ways we managed it. Is the runner up gets a share as well, just not as much. That way, you're much less incentivized to try and make a deal between each other, because we're greedy fuckers. So anyway, so that'll be that. Coco Shuko, collusion. You've seen it in a lot of competitions. That's exactly what happens, man. Is that the first the guys who, they get down to like the final three, and then they start talking about hey man, just we'll just whoever wins, we'll just split it, right? And I was like, nobody wants to see that bullshit. But we'll debate topics. We'll cover relationships, the politics, and a bunch of other stuff, and you will be able to debate, and you will be able to get kicked off. Oh, and another thing is that when we have people just clogging up the panel, the people behind the people in the green room waiting to come up can pay to challenge the people on the panel and kick you off and take your spot on the panel. So there you go.
That's interesting. Because I don't have a problem with Speakeasy. I know some people do, but the thing is that his show is more of an entertainment show.
Yeah.
Right. That's why it's called Verbal Combat. It's not, intellectual debate night. Right. And what you see on there is people sparring and verbal jousting with each other. And it's not necessarily about the topic. Like, if you think it's about the topic, it's not really about the topic, because it comes down to who can filibuster, who can out talk, out insult, a lot of that stuff. Who can have enough money or enough influence on the audience to have people like kicked off and then come back on and stuff like that. And that is an entertaining show. But if you're trying to have meaningful debate with structure, that sounds more like the direction that you're going with it. Is you're leaning more towards the Andrew Wilson side of things, but trying to like incentivize people to engage with more fervor, but still with some decorum.
Right. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things that I think. Look, I like Speakeasy a lot. For some reason, I don't think he likes me very much, and that's fine. He's come over into my channel multiple times and been a complete fucking horse's ass. And I don't like that. But that has nothing to do with this. This is just simply that there's a lot of people who want to debate that are fed up with the way Easy is doing or not doing things. One of the things that annoys me, and one of the reasons why I never stay long, and one of the reasons why I'm only there, is at the end of the day, I don't like it when the panel sits there for an hour and nobody fucking debates. They just sit there and bullshit, right? Like it needs to be moving, right? I don't want to finish at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning, unless the debates are awesome, right? I don't want to, I don't want people to just be able to sit there and like know that the chat is, predisposed to a specific side of a topic, so that even though I don't agree with it, let's say you're talking death penalty, right? And because you've been there several times, that the chat is that the guys that are going to vote are anti-death penalty, and you pick pro-death penalty, then and the other guy doesn't even need to make a good argument to beat you, because the people are just going to vote what they believe. And so rather than on the argument. So there's some problems. We're still working out some of the format. I'm going to do it this weekend. I'm going to do it Saturday. It will, I'm still trying to figure out some of the format right now is the real kicker. There are things that I want to have happen. I don't like it when we get 10 people up on the panel and all 10 people just sit there and bullshit for an hour and a half. There's no debate that happens, and there are people in the green room waiting to come up. And that's I just think that's bullshit. So we're gonna try and fix some of the things that I've seen in other stuff. Like Sarah does kind of a version of this, or did with her hot seat panel. There's things that I liked about that. There's a lot of different things that I like about. There are things I like about Prime Kai's, but there are things I don't. So this is going to be. Hopefully we can do it well. Expect some stumbling blocks the first couple of shows, but it'll be Saturday night and it'll start at about 9:00, 9:30. So
sounds good. I could even possibly pull up for some of those at that time.
Well, the other thing is that it seems like that a lot of people have trouble pulling up for other shows, and I want to be, I I already do a Saturday night show, so it's relatively easy for me to do. So I just have to cut my Saturday night show a little short. Or maybe we'll just start the debates early so we can finish early. I really dislike finishing at like 3:00 in the fucking morning. That is just bullshit. Like,
only thing I like to finish at 3:00 in the fucking morning.
I know exactly.
Never mind. I'll stop.
I know exactly, and I do. And see, that's why it needs to fit. That's why I don't want to be up till all hours of fucking night, because I need to go finish something.
Well, and going back to what you said, the key thing is you wouldn't mind if the conversation is that riveting. But if it's not, and you're going that long, it feels like a tremendous waste of time at that point.
Yeah. I just feel like that it's going to be, I hope that it's going to be a good show. I don't have a name yet. I'm still working on, I don't have any, it's not going to be the circus show that Verbal Combat, and I have no intent and no desire to be Verbal Combat, which I know is what everybody's going to say.
No.
I know everybody's going to say, well, I'm just ripping off Verbal Combat. No, I'm really not. But
don't worry. The rumor grid, I just want you to get it right now. And
I know. I'm expecting
you're trying to steal the show.
I'm expecting it any moment. Fucking Ben,
because you're my friend. This was my brain hatched idea from all I don't know how many months ago when Easy made up that rumor.
Oh, that's
and see, this is really happening now. See, and he was right the whole time. This is exactly what's going to happen.
I give Easy full credit for creating that niche for himself with his channel. But the thing is, that's not a niche that he actually created. He just put himself in there. I'm familiar of the term Verbal Combat from back in like 2018 when I first joined Twitch, in the just chatting areas of Twitch, where they would talk about, a lot of these debate shows are nothing more than Verbal Combat.
Yeah.
So it's literally a term that was used. I knew it long before. So it comes back to what a lot of people struggle with is like, who came up with the idea first? Like, there's no new idea under the sun. And the key thing is competition is actually good. If you have to kneecap your competition, maybe your product wasn't that good in the first place. Just going to say it.
Well, again, I know I'm going to catch some shit over it, and that's too bad. Again, I really want to like Easy, but he is. I honestly, I've been struggling.
I have a problem with Easy. A lot of his fanboys put a bunch of bullshit in his head, though, and I've called him out directly for that shit, and he just ignored me. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And I'm just like, dude, I'm literally watching them go back and forth between channels, planting these fucking seeds, these drama fucking seeds, and then you're exploding them with fertilizer. And then you're wondering why the beanstalk got so tall.
Hey, what's up, Non-Fon? Non-Fon's in the house. Welcome, sir. I bet he listens more than I think he does. Good to see you, Non-Fon. You are certainly welcome. Non-Fon can be a great debater. I'm not really sure he can do the Verbal Combat style, but we'll see. But look, here's the thing. I have nothing against Easy. I hope that he continues to do well with VK, but this is something that Glenn and I've talked about this off and on for probably 6 months. The problem is that I didn't want to piss off Speakeasy because that fucker just literally comes unhinged, and he doesn't talk to you privately about it. Like, look, if I have a problem with, and you, both of you know this, if I have a problem with you, I'm going to catch you in your DMs. I'm going to be like, hey, dude, fuck. And that's how I think it should be handled, right? And most people, not everybody, but most people tend to deal with me that way as well. Public is not where we want to air grievances unless we want to, unless you want to call it content. But like literally showing up in my chat and calling me 4 different kinds of motherfucker because I talked to Glenn and because I, supposedly said something that he doesn't like, or that Glenn supposedly said something that he didn't like, and now I'm somehow like a part of it. Like this is
garbage. Guilt by association.
Yeah, guilt by association. So I feel less. I have a lot less caring about it than I normally would.
I have 0 fucks. I have no fucks.
I know you don't. I know you don't. And by the way, this is just strictly I decided to do this. I started talking. Glenn and I've talked about it off and on, but really, I've been thinking about doing this for about the past 3 months. I just didn't really want to. I didn't know how I wanted to do it, and I really would have rather just done VK. But again, I would be on VK at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the panel would still be full, and that's insane. How do you get to a winner? Like, I don't even understand how anybody wins VK, right? But we're gonna get that. I'm gonna sort that out for my show. Now my show will be different. I'm sure that the comparisons will be drawn. I'm positive that I'm gonna get fucking flamed, and that's fine. I can be flamed. I'm not fireproof, but I sear up nice and crispy. So just remember that if you come for me. But anyway, it'll be a great time. There's money involved. That, and also by making pay. I think we're even going to maybe do a hard luck thing where somebody gets knocked. Like if somebody comes on, like if Andrew comes on and knocks out somebody, like, you might get a hard luck award, right? Like you might get a couple of money. You might get a couple of bucks for getting knocked out.
You get the shit happens fund.
The shit happens. That's right. But it's and spread the word, right? Like Saturday night will be the first one. I'm really it also by tying the super chats directly to the winnings. I expect all of the competitors to bring their A games and the people that toss money out to sweeten that deal and make sure that pot works, because 10% of $2,000 is a lot better than 10% of $200. So
that's math.
The math, right? Like, would I let Simperius debate? So that's actually I'm pretty sensitive to the use of avatars and things like that in debate. We may have to make a special category for fuckers that won't cam up. I have to think about that. That's a great question. That's a great question, Ben. So
yeah, like I said before, I the way that I kind of view it is, if somebody doesn't want to cam up online, but yet they want to have a man-to-man like debate with you, and they can't show you their face, that's like these leftoids, like where they're being interviewed and they got the C-19 mask on, the cloth mask, and they won't take it off and show their face while they're yelling a bunch of political BS
No, you're right.
and
100%.
waving a flag that has a swastika on it. Like, okay, you're the masked one. You're the one with a bunch of Nazi fascistic stuff on your signs, and I don't know who the fuck you are. It's like I said, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's why we on the Dragon ship, we have a rule of that, you know, you got to, even if you have to turn your camera off every once in a while, you got to be able to cam up and be on camera because we're fucking men and we're having a conversation.
Right.
And nobody wants to see. There's plenty of debate channels with faceless avatars. You can find, if you watch Andrew do the invasions, and I've seen some of them around because they come up on my feed because I moderate for Fresh and Fit, right? So tons of these channels started getting recommended to me when they started doing that stuff. So I've seen plenty of it, you know, whether it's from the Black Manosphere or just the Manosphere in general, or say the TradCon side of things. There's tons of these debate channels, and they are full of faceless avatars.
Right. Did I show you what I do to the faceless avatars? Here, I got this. You're gonna like this. And then I have a public service announcement for everybody. But I have somebody make it into something cool, and then I'm going to taunt you with it over and over and over. That's what I'm going to do. That's the best use of avatars. That's the best use of avatars ever. Oh, and by the way, here's a public service announcement for all you guys in the chat. Just stand by.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shh. Shut up. And shut the fuck up.
All right, just a public service announcement. It may or may not apply to you, but if it does, please understand you can shut the hole in your face. All right.
I do say all the time, Grid, is that a lot of guys game with women is weak because they talk too much. Like, no woman wants to date a woman that's going to talk all the time.
Probably true. I don't know many women that date women, but I'm sure that that's true. Andrew B said, "What's up with the guy at the top right? He has a weird camera angle. He has like 8 camera angles." So.
Yeah, that's called a camera slider. So you can see you got a slider right there with a camera, and it pans back and forth and does a slight tilt. So you get to see a pan view of my whole studio, except for the casting couch.
Of course,
there's no camera for that.
Yeah, there you go. All right. It looks like Imperious. Oh, the frog. It could be. Yeah, there you go.
Well, no, Ben, you can get laid if you talk a lot, but the key thing is if you keep talking in a relationship, the woman's going to look at you sideways and be like, yo, does this motherfucker ever shut up, and does he ever say anything of meaning?
Yo, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. For some reason, my mic wasn't working. I wanted to say something about like the faceless users. Oh, go ahead. You have super chat. My bad.
Yep. $5 from Anson Knowles, chairman of the board. When does your new debate platform launch, Grid? How do I get in line to smash? Saturday night. I'm going to start up. I'm thinking probably you're going to start up at like 9:30, somewhere along in there. If you're in the chat by 9:30, we're just going to roll with it. It will be the same. I think I'm not going to stop the stream and restart a new stream. I'm not going to do that. So it'll be the same. Just show up.
But you may have an intermission.
Yeah, we may do an intermission. Might play some cool tunes or a startup reel or something like that for like 5 minutes, so everybody kind of get in place. And I've also got, I've already got I have most of the payment methods sorted out. Pretty, I got Cash App, we've got PayPal, I think we got all this stuff. But I don't like it when people use I like Cash App because it gives me money. I dislike Cash App because people can't see it. I have to say it, and people have to trust what I'm saying. And people can choose to use Cash App a lot to remain anonymous. It seems like when they shouldn't be anonymous. Like if you if you kick somebody, it should not be anonymously. If I kick Viking off, if I pay $50 to send Viking to the Longship, he should know that it was me that did that. So I'm
Yeah, because that's
on-
pussy shit otherwise.
yeah, but we may only use Cash App for specific things. Like I wouldn't like if you Cash App to kick somebody, I would gladly take your money, but I'm not going to kick them. I might, put them down, drop them down off screen for 10 minutes or something, but nobody deserves to be kicked anonymously. That's stupid. That's wrong. I'm not going to do that.
Great. I've come to an epiphany.
Working on that now. $1.99 from Ben. Set up a 1v1 me and Imperious. Avatar versus Avatar. How droll.
Yeah, I think Imperious is going to perpetually be at a disadvantage in any debate he goes into for one simple reason. He goes in predetermining he's correct.
True.
That's debating in bad faith. So every debate he goes into is a bad faith debate. Because if you're actually trying to debate, you should be going in with the mindset of, hey, this motherfucker could actually be persuasive and prove me wrong. Let's hear him out. If you don't go in with that mindset, you're doing debate wrong. You're just having an argument.
It's true. It is true.
Hey, do you guys want to know what I've come to the realization of? This is like mind blowing. You ready? You ready for this?
Go with it.
I realize there are so many people that have like really important jobs on YouTube that have to hide their face because their jobs are going to get taken away. Like they're that important, but they can't keep their ideas contained. They have to let us know. But their jobs there's just way too many people that have these really important careers that this world will not function if they were found out.
That's true. That's true.
I've heard that happen a lot, though, where guys made that claim about their faceless avatar. Oh, I could get fired. And then it turns out when their own moderators like dox them and out their bullshit, turns out they're living with their mom in their basement. They have a shitty job. They're 40 years old. They haven't done shit with their life. And there's basically kneecapping other motherfuckers. Like you see that a lot of times in the black pill MGTOW space. I saw that quite a bit. Motherfuckers come to the work. And you see this happen in all these spaces. It's usually a better bet to bet that they're hiding their face for a reason rather than because they need to.
Rob Noor literally ran for office, and he debates online like all the time and uses adult language a lot.
My thing is, if you're too scared to show your face,
a love letter there, Viking.
What's my job? My job is basically whatever the fuck I want it to be because I own my own company.
Yeah, so Monday through Fridays he does porn, and then the weekends he does
No, I haven't started posting stuff to the OnlyFans yet. I gotta find a couple more models and get some of that action going. Yeah, but eventually.
Yeah. So all right, guys, I'll have the rules. I hope to have the rules by Thursday.
Well, great. I thought like the first rule was like, don't be a bitch. Rule number 2.
That will actually probably be the first rule. Don't be a wanking bitch.
Rule number 2, please read rule number 1.
But yeah, seriously though, if you all want to know what I do, you can go to my website, get a quick summary of it, and that's basically the stuff I'm helping Glenn out with right now, as well as other people that do content. As you can see, I can build a studio.
Yes, sir.
Rob Noor, OF, should not be used in the same sentence. All right. Yeah. So, yeah. Don't. If you run, you lose. If you cam down, you lose. I hate that too. I was in a debate not long ago, and like randomly, that person's that dude's cam, because it made it sound like there might have been a girl involved, but no, the dude's cam just randomly stopped working, and I think he was spurging.
Could be. But cameras do overheat and things like that. Software does have bottlenecks that fuck it up. This is one of the things I can fix as well and help identify if it's actually your computer, the hardware, what the deal is, you know.
You know, when I started this channel, I actually was told by so many people that cameras are like the weakest link. I actually have that camera there. I have the exact same camera here. And I have another one.
Do you remember the time when Andrew's camera caught on fire?
No, I don't know that.
Oh, it was like several, or it didn't catch on fire, but it started smoking and oh, that was funny.
Apparently, Glenn is going to have Girl 992 replacement audition, so please pay attention. Check your DMs for that.
Well, actually, I'm trying to find a way to kill off Girl 992, but all you guys like her so much, and really, I blame Ghost, for this or whatever his new alias is. But like, you guys keeping this broad alive, and I'm just and like wanting to shake you guys. Like, why?
Tiki Tax says good cameras make you look healthy. Thank you.
Yeah, and in terms of professional advice, the only if you're doing like especially like a single camera setup, there's only one camera you really need right now. The best camera you can get is these little motherfuckers right here. This is the Elgato Face Cam, not the Pro version, just the Elgato Face Cam. These actually have a smaller Sony sensor in them, right? I know this because I study my equipment. This runs on USB 3, so it does require USB 3 to function correctly. So if you use USB A or USB 1, the white one, right, you're going to have problems in terms of connectivity. But this little fucker doesn't have a auto zoom. It's a fixed focus.
Yeah.
So you can just set it in front of you. That's why it's a face cam. You can just set it in front of yourself, and it's not going to do that zoom in, zoom out shit ever. And it's 1080p,
Are you trying to talk about my shit?
made for low light. And like I said, this is only about $200. If you want to do content and you can't cam up, that's why I'm saying this. You just buy one of these for 200 fucking bucks and you're set. You got the camera that you need and you'll be just fine. No excuses.
I went to a fixed focus actually because the autofocus kept fucking me up. Like,
yep.
Yeah. You know, like, I like the Oz. I like
and
the
a lot of
Ozbot.
cameras, you can turn it off, right? But if you don't know the settings for your camera, you might need me to tell you how to go in there and do that.
Even when you turn it off, sometimes it'll just kind of like it doesn't turn itself back on, but it still does the lighting up and down.
Oh yeah, because it's the sensor, and it's also like,
yeah.
What your computer's running, like what's the output?
Oh, I'm me. My
no, like when you're seeing that flash, sometimes it could be like you may have multiple programs in the background running.
That's true.
That could be tripping things up too.
Down, yeah. $5.
No, that's actually sorry, real quick. That's another feature. Some of those cameras have a more advanced feature where not only will it do the zoom in, zoom out, but it will auto adjust the lighting. That's something you can typically turn off. There are some cameras where you can't turn either or off, but if you do have a camera like that, you typically want one where you can turn the auto light adjustment and the auto zoom off.
Yeah, I had the,
and that's why I recommend Ozbot. You could get them for $150. The mini, really good.
That's what all these cameras are. These are all the Ozbot ones.
Yeah,
I love them.
$5
auto zoom there was because of my hand.
All right, let me read this. $5 from chairman of the board. I've been a public pain to folks with power for 15 years. You ain't doing it right unless you've been threatened. Folks hiding behind avatars are weak. Damn, Anson Knowles throwing it down.
But
$4.99.
here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
$4.99 from Ben. People come into things thinking they're right. Little asterisk, thinks he knows everything. Asterisk. Very funny. Because Ben does think he knows everything. By the way, Ben, just so you know,
I think I know everything.
Ben, the TTS threshold here is $10. It's $10. So just so you know that. That way I don't have to read it. And
basically, Ben, he's saying pay a little bit more so he doesn't have to read. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Why would I not?
Yeah. Real quick,
also,
though,
you get to
on
hear
that topic.
Pleasant English girl's lilting voice instead of my whatever the hell my voice is.
Yeah, I just remember a quote of Socrates just now, and that is, "I know that I am smart, because I know that I know nothing. So that's basically how I operate from. I know that I'm an arrogant fucking asshole, right? And I'll tell you that up front. You know, I'll tell you that I think I'm right. And you got to persuade me if you want to prove me wrong. But I'm willing to hear you out. That's the one difference between, you know, or I like to think that's the difference between me and many people that I've encountered, is the willingness to hear a motherfucker out thoroughly and honestly.
And you wear pants even though nobody could see you from waist down.
I was going to say, who said I was wearing pants?
Everyone.
No, I'm wearing pants. You can see.
You know what's funny? It's like
nobody wants to see that though, except for my girl.
This is what cracks me up. The same people that want to go anonymous and like have an avatar, they are like the feminists who just want to avoid accountability. They want to be able to say shit with no consequence. And they usually are the ones bitching about women's lack of accountability.
Okay.
I wonder if there's a connection.
Yeah, there's people that talk about the problem. There's people that talk about solutions to the problem.
That's true. That's true. And very often they are not related. They don't know each other. So yeah, Non-Fon and Silvar Ogre, all you guys who love to debate, come on out Saturday night. It's gonna be a good time. I will be moderating. I will not be debating, and I don't believe that I'm going to add an option where you can where you can 1v1 me. I think that's kind of bullshit. Anyway, so
Yeah, I think that's dumb because you already have the bully pulpit.
Yeah,
it's your platform.
I think that's kind of bullshit. So I think that it's so anyway, that's one of the rules is that I don't believe you. Well, unless my advisors, which there are 2 or 3 of you guys that have been advising me, think it's a good idea. I don't see any reason why the moderator should debate a 1v1. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, we're gonna and that the target is to have 10 people up, and it would be great if the show lasted maybe 3 to 4 hours. So that would be the way to go. So, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do this weekend, or that's what we're going to do this weekend. Wednesday evening's show is going to be pretty good. I'm working on a good guest. Hopefully, that will come to fruition. Thursday morning show. That'll just be more politics and that sort of thing. I don't know that we're going to have a show on Thursday night, because I don't have a debate set up or anything like that. I would like to. I'd like to get something going on, but nobody right now is out there. Nobody right now has presented anything where I really want to debate about on Thursday. So maybe I'll do another interview, and then Friday night show. I'm working on it. I'm working on several interviews this week. It's hard to convince some people to come on because, well, they're busy and it's Friday night, and it's tough to get the.
Yeah, like I've turned down every interview Grid has asked me because I'm like just balls deep in better things.
Glenn's actually been on. We've done a few interviews, but maybe we ought to do like a. Actually, maybe Friday night we'll do a deep dive into some of the stuff. We'll talk about that. It would be good. It would be really good. $4.99 comes in from Ben. I should present the topics, but don't tell them who is taking the affirmative and negative. So this is the way it's going to work as far as topics go, Ben. Just so you, because I don't know if you've done VK. So I will have a list of topics. We'll start with the main topic of the evening, and I don't know what it'll be. And and we'll just talk about that, and then maybe whoever has strong opposing opinions will hopefully there'll be a 1v1 come out of that. Then we may change topics, and I will try and post a list of potential topics by Thursday. I never did like the idea that you just show up and you're totally fucking unprepared, so you're sitting there instead of enjoying the show, you're sitting there Googling information really quick or just pulling shit out of your ass. So
yeah, but that leads to that whose line is it anyway effect, and it's entertaining to see people scramble. So
that is true. So we'll see. Well, let me talk to my advisors, guys. Let me talk to my advisors. I am open to input. You can go to the Discord. You can either DM me directly, or you can just post it in the Shed Full of Shit. That's where we talk shit. And this is basically shit talking personified. And welcome to post whatever you want. If you have a topic, a suggestion how to make the show work that I may not have thought of, whatever. Just you can leave it there.
And hold on, I gotta set a disclaimer for that, Grid, because you got to understand we got some interesting people that listen sometimes. Because you give your suggestion and he doesn't do it, doesn't mean you're smart. It just means that your idea was dumb and we didn't want to listen to it. Okay.
That's actually probably accurate. I'm probably just not gonna bother to fucking do it. And I'm gonna try and get. I'd really like to get Fabian Liberty or somebody to come on. But the problem with having Fabian on is he'll spend 3 hours just talking. So because he can go, like, that dude can, like, he is verbose, as they say. So yeah. There you go. It's interesting that we have all these. We had all of these women in the chat, and now we have 4 dudes just like in a dick measuring contest. What's that about? Is that the way it always works? Is that what happening?
You see how gay things turn when there's no women around?
Right? That's what I'm saying. We had all these women over there. They were talking. They were hanging out. They're having fun, and now everybody's just out there measuring their dick. So. I don't know what's happening. It's so funny.
I mean, usually I prefer like letting the girls measure my dick, not
I thought that would be the way.
I was gonna say something, but I figure I'm trying not to be a degen.
They're trying to get the ladies. They're failing. This is not how you do that. This is. I thought this was page 1, volume 1 of how to not fucking get women. Beth Mayhew says that her son just offered for her to use his MacBook for Saturday, so she will be debating.
That is awesome that your son will let you do that.
Apparently somebody thinks the dude over there with no hair and a kid is a virgin. I think that's funny. That's pretty.
No, that's a meme in the Fresh and Fit Discord. Is that Viking's a virgin? He doesn't get no pussy.
Okay, all right.
Fun fact. It's old news, man. Reddit hates me. Right? Fresh and Fit Reddit, like, even though they're all banned and shit because they're fucking racist and dumbasses.
Let's say Lou's in the house. She's lurking. All right, cool. Her Beth's 16-year-old is pumped. He wants mom to argue with someone other than him. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, look, Mom,
he can argue too.
Don't yell at
it's
me.
not age
He's like,
restricted.
just stop yelling at me. Go yell at these guys. You want to go yell at guys? Here you go.
Yeah.
What he's doing, he's trying to distract her so he could like go talk to the chick that he
he's
likes.
Be on the phone all night. Hey, baby.
Mm-hmm. All night long.
That's funny. That's very funny. What say, Lou? Good to see you in the chat. That's awesome. That's very funny. He will just insult everyone. So him and Ben will be buddies. The same tactic. Just give him time to delete history. That's funny.
Whatever you do, do not use the Google tab. Do not start typing anything. You may not be able to unsee what you see.
Don't type anything that might autocorrect or autofill. Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, it is always for research. It was an assignment in school that he had to look it up for. It was not on his own.
She's already learned that lesson. That's funny. Oh man, this is great. Kids being kids in America. That's funny. Page 1, rule 2. Never miss an opportunity to mention your political position, like a vegan. Ooh. Do we have any vegans? Are there any vegans? Like, did any slip in unannounced?
I grew up vegetarian, and I could tell
That's
you for
pretty
a fact
close
that
to
most
being gay, I
vegetarians
guess.
and vegans are doing shit wrong most of the time, and they don't even fucking know it. They'll sit there and try to condescend to you, but they don't even know how to source proper protein from plant sources or to eat enough of it. Like,
What?
they literally don't. That's basics.
That chick that died from eating bananas and shit. What was
the different type of banana.
Tropical fruit. She was
what was
eating a
that?
diet that of only tropical fruit. But the thing is, a tropical fruit is nothing but fructose. All right.
It's just
so
supposedly she was
no.
getting
It's
her protein
fructose. It's
from
what
bananas,
high fructose corn syrup is derived from, basically. So the thing is that sugar is a cause of inflammation and cause a lot of problems in the body. It's easy to absorb and easy to burn. It's like running nitrous in a motor, right? You're gonna give it more oomph, but there's a cost.
But wasn't the, and because it's been years since I actually read about this, but wasn't she the one who was getting claimed to get all of her protein from bananas and or something else? And
Wrong banana grid.
And
yeah,
apparently she didn't understand it, but she was like, literally, like, all of her nutrients were from as he said, basically tropical fruit, and everybody's like, no, you're gonna die. And she got like ridiculously thin, like she died.
Yep.
Listen, a lot of
She
these,
starved herself while eating.
If you notice, a lot of these chicks that are vegans are like super promiscuous, right? And they think that when they're getting facials, it's protein. Actually, semen is composed of more carbohydrates than protein, ladies. That's not protein you're ingesting. It's just more carbs.
You're assuming they swallow.
No, they rub it in like Lubriderm, like a face mask.
Oh, that's gross.
Because your skin is like the biggest organ.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, they're probably going if they're genuinely talking about, they're probably talking about the studies that showed that your body will basically do a conversion on pretty much anything you eat. The thing is that conversion typically only goes one way, and that is anything you consume, plant, vegetable, protein, carbohydrate, whatever, gets converted to the most calorie dense macro out of the 4 macros, which is fat, 9 calories per gram. So if you overeat anything, it will your body will transform it through chemical processes into fat to store it for later. But it doesn't work like that with muscle, right? Muscle can only be grown by eating lots of protein and backing that up with muscle activations to trigger hypertrophy, and then sleeping and recovering properly.
So I have Jack wants to know, what is racist that Myron does? I guess it's referring to the Reddit thing from earlier.
Well, I was just talking about I got a lot of fans on Reddit.
Oh. Okay.
They finally see. I called them out for me living rent free in their head when they kept saying I was vice versa. This is like no, dude. Like you keep giving me attention when all I did was call you out for your bullshit and make an example out of you.
Yeah.
And this happens over and over. It's the same thing with Imperius, right? I called him out, made an example out of him. It's not about him. It's about giving people correct information, in my opinion.
And by the way, somebody sent me this earlier, and I apologize, I didn't read it. But apparently, Tommy Lahren was not married earlier. She was engaged. The guy gave her like a $50,000 ring, and she gave it back to
Yep.
him. And then she moved on to baseball player guy.
Yeah, but he was also a baseball player. She has a type. She likes the guy that swings wood.
That's funny. I have no idea if Fresh and Fit is racist because I don't watch Fresh and Fit. I've never been able to make it through a single episode.
Well, according to the FBA people, they say that Myron isn't really black, so he is racist. But the thing is, he's actually African American. So according to their power plus privilege dynamic, he can't be. So once again, it's just like, what are you going to believe? You know, like Myron says things that people would take as racist if they're offended by it, but he says it about everybody. Like, that's the key thing. Myron will tell you, if you go and actually watch, he says this over and over again. Now, he does have a bit of a fixation with one particular group right now, but people gave him the same shit when his fixation was more about the dynamics between men and women. They said that he was they gave him, this is why I have this.
Misogyny.
Right? So I literally got that from Myron when I was there. So that's the thing that they were claiming back in the day. But then when he changed to more politics and talking about like the world state, which is technically more his wheelhouse because he used to work at the fucking border and knows a few things about certain areas of the government like that. Now they're saying, oh, you're a racist. So before he was a misogynist, now he's a racist. They used to call him a racist back then too. So it's just like, is he really though? Right? Because I worked with him.
Well, they called him
and
racist
his actions
because he
show
did it-
that he's not, because he doesn't discriminate. He works with everybody and he makes fun of everybody equally, especially his friends. Myron makes more fun of his friends behind the scenes, saying words I can't say on YouTube, than he does anywhere on air, even when he's going off on Rumble and stuff like that. Just saying.
Well, they called him racist because, you know, he stated the obvious about like black chicks and their hair and not being a midnight rider.
Well, the thing is, where they first started taking heat about being supposedly racist is when a super chatted in asking them if they'd ever used the app Blacked or whatever, Black, which is a black only dating app. And they just said that they never used it, that, but they don't dabble in the dark, and made a joke out of it, because they were talking about the app specifically, and they were doing a double entendre alluding to black women. Everybody got offended by this joke, but the thing is I can tell you for a fact, Myron dates black women. I can confirm. I've literally, Mo and I pulled up the studio, and girl was walking out. So I know for a fact he's got no problem dating black women and whatnot. So once again, it's just a joke, but people don't want to take it as a joke because they have a bias to say,
How dare you?
Misogyny.
It's an ad hominem attack.
Yep.
Well, Viking, to be more accurate, you cannot prove that he dates them. You could prove that he fucks them. And, he's an equal opportunist when it comes to fucking. And that is what every man should aspire to be. Never mind. I'm just
Glenn's trying to say that the man's
remember
dick-
my philosophy.
That's what he's saying.
I told my girl this in the beginning, if we ain't fucking, we ain't dating, because if we ain't fucking, we're just friends. Doesn't matter how friendly we are. If we're not doing sexual intercourse, it's just another friendship. When you have sexual intercourse, that makes it a relationship.
But see, I don't like that, because then that standard makes me had a lot of relationships.
That's not my problem, Glenn.
I don't like your philosophy here, because that means some people may think I'm still in a relationship with them.
It's not a
I don't like that
philosophy.
shit.
It's a biological fact. The only thing that makes any relationship more than friends is fucking.
Oh, yes, I agree, but fucking doesn't mean you're in a relationship.
Well, not a long-term one, but I mean, you're still having that relationship, even if you're just fuck buddies, right? You have a sexual
Well, we're
relationship.
relating. We're doing some relating at that time, but
Well, like I said, you can draw the lines and compartmentalize it if you want, but I mean, you can't ignore the base reality of that. It's still a different type of relationship than just being friends.
I mean, basically, Viking is just saying that you have an equal opportunity dick. It's colorblind. Doesn't doesn't see color.
Well, and the point that I call out on is that the joke was they don't dabble in the dark, and everybody assumes that means that they don't date black women at all, and they don't even have sex with them. And there was even allegations that supposedly Myron is grossed out by them. It's like, no, Myron's grossed out by fat women, and what he views as fat is old school, actual based on biology. So yeah, there's a lot of women out there he's going to straight up think are fucking gross. And a lot of them, due to the 80%, or damn near 80% obesity rate in the African American community amongst women, right? A lot of them tend to be what he would consider gross. So because people put that information together, then they're just like, oh, well, that means that he doesn't like those women. And once again, they straw man and ad hominem. They're not actually addressing the actual argument.
I'm gonna just kind of pivot here for a minute because Jack says something. He starts out kind of weird, but what do you think about this black kid who murdered the white kid at a football event? It wasn't a game. It was like a conference or something, right? They were like in different pavilions or some shit, and the black kid just stuck the white kid in the chest with a knife, just right there.
Just sounds like
that's
some old
called
school hood shit.
well, that is called reparations. Okay, so he's technically innocent because all
Dude,
the shit that
it's a really messed up story. Like it's really
no, it is messed up, but
The,
that's
I
how
don't
that's
know
how
any of the
some of these
details.
people. I mean, I literally heard somebody talk about this black guy, and he was so dismissive of it. He's like, white people have been killing black people for years. They want us to start caring about it now. I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh,
again, that's a
okay.
guilt by association, crimes of the father bullshit. And it once again, it doesn't uphold our current legal standard. It's like, so if your granddaddy did some fuck shit, you think it'd be okay for your kids to get murdered at school? Like you follow the logic. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, the specific event is just, if you don't know the details, I'll just run through it really quickly. So basically, these dudes, it's a bunch of football teams. I think it was some kind of like, some sort of conference or gathering. They had a bunch of different teams there. They were under these pavilions, and for some reason, the black kid was in the wrong pavilion. And so these two, so this white kid comes over. Well, the team that was under that pavilion came over and said, "Hey, you need to leave." It was a track meet. It wasn't even a football game. It was a track meet. Thank you, Sheridan. So they're at this track meet. They're all under these pavilions, and the white kids team, they're filling up, and they're like, "Hey, you got to leave. You're in the wrong spot." And then the guy's like, "No, I'm not leaving." And they said, "No, you got to leave. This is our pavilion. Your pavilion's over there. You go over there with your team." And for whatever reason, the black kid decided to be like super confrontational about it. And so one of the white kids, the kid who gets stabbed, he basically says, "Hey, you need to leave." And the black kid says, "If you touch me," I don't know what the exact quote was, but basically, "If you touch me, you'll be sorry." And they started to like just got in front of the guy, like getting in his face, kind of. And the black kid pulled a knife out of his backpack and just stabbed the guy in the chest, killed him, one stab. Like not like wasn't repetitive or anything. Like he didn't go crazy or anything. He just like straight up stabbed the dude. And
yeah, again, somebody that doesn't understand real violence.
Yeah, and so the the white kid's twin brother and dad were there and held him as he was dying, like right there. And the black kid ran off, and he was caught later, and then he was trying to say that it was self-defense, and they put his hands on him, and there's no evidence and no witness statement at all that kid that they even touched. Like it wasn't like the guy, were they grabbed him and we're gonna he G-checked the white kid. The white kid obliged, and then he killed him over. I'm not really sure what a G-check.
Yeah, that's why, like, again, if you go to a sports event where you're not supposed to be fighting with weapons or even fists for that matter. Even if, like, say those kids were bullying him, ganging up on him, and like trying to do the pulling out a weapon and trying to end somebody's life. Because when you pull out, again, when you learn this in gun safety, like if you pull a weapon, you better be planning on using it. Threats are not a good mindset. The motherfucker like holding the gun like a rap video, going like, "Yeah, you better do what I want." That's stuff that criminals and people that are trying to use intimidation tactics use on weak-minded people. When they're dealing with real threats, that's not how they act. You pull, you shoot. Same thing with a knife. A knife is the same thing. I was taught how to fight with knives as well. When you pull a knife, you have lethal intent. You're not defending yourself. You are trying to end a threat.
Well, there was no defense. There was nothing to defend from. These kids weren't like beating him up. They didn't grab him. They moved his bag from the chair to like on the ground or something. Like they just basically said, "Hey, you got to go," and took his bag and set it down.
He was in the wrong place and he couldn't hold the L, and he escalated it like a dumbass.
Right, and he just consistently escalated it. And so
you see Donovan Sharp does breakdowns of these body cam videos, and you see the same pattern all the time. And once again, I say all the time, it's not just ghetto people or whatever you want to say. I've seen this with trailer trash motherfuckers whiter than me.
Yeah, but this seems to be more and more common in schools, and I don't know how you closely follow all this news and shit, but the girl just a month and a half ago, the black girl who beat her own teammate, the white girl, over the head with a baton at a track meet, and put the girl in a hospital with like
in the race. Yeah, she reflexively hit her when she passed her, and then she tried to claim it was an accident. Yeah, I saw that.
No. She was supposed to be handing her the baton, but because they had like some words or something, this girl just like beat. And if you've seen the video,
so a different one.
In the interview, the black girl says that there was no, they have words or whatever. Maybe she was a little unhappy with her, but she was trying to hand it off and just couldn't make the connection or whatever. But in the video is crazy. If you look at it, this girl's hitting the girl in the back of the head with that baton.
Yeah.
And on the handoff.
See, that's just another example of somebody not understanding real violence. Like I said, this is why I think everybody should have to take like actual combat training of some kind, right? Actually put on some boxing gloves, a helmet, and maybe get punched in the face a little bit so you can understand what happens when actual fighting happens in real life. It's not safe. It's not fun most of the time. Like shit can really happen very fast.
I think there's this weirdness going on in our school systems, and the black kid who knifed the guy just this past weekend. So his dad came out and was like, "Hey, my kid has a 3.7 GPA. He's a good kid. He's never done anything wrong, and he's a good student, and he's got all of these opportunities with football teams and stuff like that."
Well, now they want the same privilege that like the white kids used to get back in the day that they were bitching about.
So what happened? So when you actually look at this kid, that's all lies. The kid had like a sub 2 GPA until his senior year, and he only and that's probably astroturfed, right? And then
Grid, hold up, Grid, a sub 2 GPA in the hood, that's like a 4.0. All right, I'm telling you right now.
This isn't even in the hood. This is like fucking. This isn't. Yeah, I don't know, but he is definitely doing gangster shit. Like on his Facebook, he's like holding an AK up like a gangster. He's got like the new. What's interesting is when the dad said all this stuff, and the immediate when you say things like that, the first thing that happens is people start digging because they're like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would a kid that's like really perfectly happy and getting a 3.7 GPA, why would he all of a sudden just randomly pull it? Why would he have a knife at a track event? Second, why would he pull it out and stab another kid with it? Like, if this is actually the case. So everybody dug into it, and sure enough, this guy's got like gangster shit all over his Facebook, and he's a wannabe gangster. So I don't
Well,
know.
he
I
just
thought I
made gangster though because he no longer want to be. You have to stab somebody to be considered a real G.
apparently he's
So
now a real G. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. I think it's really crazy. I'm glad my kid is not in the public school system, and I'm glad that he competes in clay sports where everybody has a gun. Right?
me
Like,
too. Because now there's no mishaps. Even you notice that there's very few mishaps when there's more guns around. It's
yeah,
like, oh yeah,
yeah, that's true.
like okay. Let
And
me ask you
and
this,
and there's a
Grid.
lot
How
of gun
many
safety going
injuries,
on.
Grid? If you can answer this question, how
Yeah,
many injuries from a gun that has happened at your kids' clay sports, you know,
I don't know that they've
competitions?
ever had an actual injury at an SCTPA event or an SCTP event.
But
Mm.
where the event is with a football
Yeah,
or something,
apparently there's some
that's more
shooting.
dangerous than.
Yeah, it's very interesting, man. It's just really interesting. Um, but you know, and I mean, they have to be so safe with those things, man. Like you can't have a closed action. You can't, the gun can't be loaded until you get to the line. And let me tell you, if you come to the line, if you act like, just say you're, and my son uses a double barrel, some kids use semi-autos. If you came to like you just randomly had inserted the wrong number of shells, or you forgot that you had put it had a shell in the gun at the last, or in the tube at the last station, and somehow you managed to get the gun racked. If you rack that shotgun at the next station and a round flies out, they're gonna stop, and you're gonna be sent home. And it's just the way it is, because you were walking around with a loaded gun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's zero. It's not zero tolerance, but it is a very hard line in the sand of what is safe and not safe.
Yeah, and if you don't follow every step of those safety procedures and they let that slide,
Yeah.
That's when you get bad things happen. Somebody forgets that their gun's loaded, maybe, slips or something like that. Maybe somebody bumps into them and something goes off, something happens.
I will also say that with a shotgun, it's really, I mean, you basically have to be contact to kill somebody with birdshot in the shotgun. You can fuck them up pretty good, but it's
Well, yeah,
really hard to
ask
kill.
Cheney how that went for his friend.
Who's that?
Remember Cheney shot his friend in the face with birdshot?
Dick Cheney.
Yeah, Dick Cheney.
And then his friend apologizing for getting his face
In the way of the
in the
shell.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my fault. My face was there.
Yeah.
Should never put my face there.
I mean,
Yeah,
if he jumped up in front of him when he was going to take the shot, like, I could agree with that. Like, he's trying to prank him or something like that. But I highly doubt that's what happened.
Yeah, it was it's an interesting thing. I have it's interesting to me because, like, shotguns, like, at 50 yards, birdshot hitting you at 50 yards isn't even annoying. It's literally going 200 feet per second. Like, a BB gun, it goes faster and weighs more. Like,
Dude, I shot my friend in the hand with the BB gun.
I love the BB gun wars.
Oh, dude, they're so fun.
Yeah,
The
I got a
welts.
scar right here from when my brother shot me.
Welts, yeah.
Bring back the good old days.
Good old
when
days.
masculinity wasn't called toxic, and you could shoot your friend with a BB gun and still drink a beer,
Oh
laughing
no,
about it later.
that was not allowed. We got those BB guns. The one condition we got those BB guns for Christmas is that we weren't shooting each other. And my brother had this incident is that we were pretending to fight. That was his idea. And then he thought the safety was on, allegedly, and he pulled the trigger at me and actually shot me in the face. So yeah, we definitely got the BB guns taken away for a while after that.
I actually trained my brother, how to run fast with the BB gun. He was doing football at the time, and I just wanted a reason to shoot him. And I told him, I was like, when I say go, you have to run as fast as fuck, or I'm going to shoot you in the back. And if you don't get to the pole by the time I just count to 10 and I shoot you, you're not going fast enough. I don't think it really helped with the speed, but it was really funny watching him fall every time I got him in the back of the leg or back of the neck. Character building is what it was.
That's funny. I'm sorry, so the chat is being hilarious right now. I I went to a military school and there were always guns there, or a gun activity. And one of the things that I remember the best was the wax bullets, the downloaded wax bullets. So long before we had simunitions, we had wax bullets. And a wax bullet downloaded, it's not like super accurate. It's not like shooting an actual like real gun. I mean, you're shooting a real gun, but it's not like it just doesn't go as far or as fast, but it will leave a welt if it hits you in a place where you're not padded. And that used to be the best thing ever. Now, of course, we have simunitions, and you get hit with a micro-sized paintball, and that hurts. That simunitions sting. Don't let anybody tell you that simunitions don't hurt. They fucking
paintball sting.
Well, the paintballs sting, but I'm talking the simunitions are like your actual gun. They have to put a different spring in it so it'll cycle, but but they're downloaded like 9mm or 223, and it's a little tiny thing of like a tiny paintball, like miniaturized. Like,
oh, you're talking about the plastic BBs.
No, it's you can look up
the airsoft
simunition.
stuff.
No, this is called simunition.
Okay, so there's another one that I haven't heard of yet. Nice.
Yeah, well, you have to be. Well, it's super expensive. Like you have to be like a pro.
Specialized ammo, so I would assume so.
Yeah, you have to be kind of pro. You have to have people. Like it's where you practice shooting people for real, right?
Yeah, I like that game.
And it's not like a laser. It's not like a sensor or anything like that. It's you get hit. Everyone knows you got hit because there's pain, and you're gonna scream because it hurts. If you get hit like not somewhere padded, like a pant leg or something. If you get hit in your pant, like just a leg, oh, it's gonna leave a bruise. But I've played with simunitions a lot, but it's very interesting.
It's fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
But it's modern day BB gun wars. It is just really expensive, and it's really expensive to set your guns up to do it. But
great, we should start a club.
We should start a club. Yeah. I actually
and look, it could be part of your debate show. All right, when it comes down to the last two, not only do you have to like have a good argument for the final debate, but if the crowd says it's a tie, it comes down to a duel.
That's actually the last thing before we go, because I'm gonna have to shut down. I got things to do. But the last thing, so how do we declare how should I declare a winner? Should we do the crowd, the chat voting? Should I bring up two judges?
No. So
what do you think?
What crowd? It's always going to be crowd. The chat always wins, right? But you have to give the chat guidelines to when they're making their selection and voting. All right. So you can vote who you want, but make sure when you're voting, you are considering these things. And whether it's like, do they present an argument? Do they, is their argument sound? Or are they just, you know what I'm saying? Like, have a criteria that you are looking for your chat when it comes to voting.
Yeah, I got to put some thought into that.
Yeah, like
and if like
judging instructions.
Best way to say it is like, look, if your chat Cash Apps me $100, then I will, let their winner win.
I could put some thought into that. That's a good. I mean, that's
good
a good start. We're gonna get into this. Weighted votes with panel judges. 3 judges.
And here's the thing: each round, somebody gets knocked out. The chat has to eliminate somebody each round.
At least
so
one.
If you have
person.
10 topics and you have 10 debaters, each round somebody's gone.
Well, you would have five. Well, you'd have 6.
Whatever.
Topics.
You know what I'm talking about. Stop it.
So there's one last thing. So one of the interesting things that I had thought about doing is, and I even and you and I had talked about it before. How Grace Thorpe is good at breaking down debates, right? She was on the debate team. She understands it. She's not. I don't know that she's particularly good at debating, but she can break them down. And you and I had talked about that before. And then she had talked to me about doing a show like that. And there was no way to make it work, but that might be something is having not, and I'm not saying to have Grace Thorpe do it, but have someone like Grace Thorpe breaking down the debate and the points that were made and why they matter. I'm not really sure how to make that work. That's really great though.
Almost like having a commentary on the side during the live.
Yeah, maybe. Somehow we got to do it. Maybe in chat. Maybe there's like a chat block or something. Michelle would be good at that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
She'd have to bone up on her debate stuff, but she could do it for sure. And she's good at that.
Look, I will think about it. I'll consider letting Michelle do this. I have her really busy doing all my stuff that I don't like to do. And so if I give her free time to do this, that means I actually have to do some of the work that I don't want to do. I'll let you know.
I'll just pay her more.
Damn it, rich white people. You and your fucking privilege.
I'll just solve this problem. Stacy, Lady Christ Warrior, good to see you in the chat. Imp Dave, I saw you come in, Dave. I am not Dave, but you are. Unfortunately, you guys are coming in right as I'm winding down because this is I only allow myself 3 hours at a time, really, and we're getting there. We will. We'll talk more about this, I'm sure, over the next few days. You've been here a while, just pop in. Okay, cool. Been a while. Yeah, Dave, it's been a long time since I've seen you in the chat. Every time, I often think that I need to take time away from the internet. I hope it did you good. Anyway, Viking and Glenn, shout out your channels, spam yourselves, make yourselves known to the remainder of our audience, and let's get out of here.
Well, website right there. You can find all my socials, vikingparadigm.com. Got all my links on there. Discord if you want to join that. I do got a filter system because the Discord is set up by default for being able to handle influx of random people and trolls. So if you do go in there, just because you can't see anything, I just gotta let you through. Security. We got security there. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna be working with Glenn on some stuff. He's got you said you had some ideas you wanted to run by me, Glenn. We still need to do that. I guess he's got busy.
Yeah. So just give 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
The Briar Wolf donated $19.99. Super chat. Great show. Thank you guys. Saluting face emoji. Good luck with the new shows.
Say who?
The Briar Wolf donated $19.99. Great show. Thank you guys. Good luck with the new show. Thank you so much for that. Ben, that's what you get when you TTS, when you contribute the proper amount. you get the TTS in that charming UK voice and that amazing English lilt. So just go ahead and make a note, sir. Make a note. I'm sorry.
Everybody to pay attention and just point out that Grid uses pornography. audible pornography.
ASMR? Are you saying I'm using ASMR?
That grid is all about these like sex workers. As long as you don't see them, but you could hear them, you know.
Yeah, that's right. It's automated too. I'm sorry, Viking. I interrupted you. I apologize.
No, it's all good. I just didn't understand that the super chat had come because I couldn't hear it. So
Yeah, you can't hear it because you're not on YouTube. It only broadcasts YouTube. So
yeah, I didn't see it even come up in the chat, and once I saw that, then I was just like, oh, okay, that's probably what happened. But yeah, like I said, anybody that's interested can find all the info they need at my website. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to be working with Glenn here, and I'm always around. If you guys need any tech help, I'm pretty good at this stuff.
Cool.
Yes, indeed, he is. And you guys could find me at your mom's house, leaving by 11:30 at night because I got an early morning to do. And so if you hear the bed rocking and the chandeliers knocking, it's not an earthquake. It's okay. Just don't open the door. All right. Until next time, that's all I got to say.
all right. I just posted the link to the Discord. Oh, wait, that's the wrong link. Why did it not do that? I'll do it again. It's too late. That was the link to come up on the panel, but it's too late because we're going to end there. Why is this? It's not copying properly. It says copy.
Typically it's the operator error, but
yeah, let me do that. It just keeps wanting to do that. Don't know why. It may be different screens or some shit. There we go. Got it. It was copying, but not copying. All right, so there's the Discord link. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to come over and join the Discord. At the end of the day, it's a kind of a fun place to be. Sometimes it can get pretty active over there. You can message me. You can message, me and other people and get information. I will be posting about the new show or the debate portion of the show throughout the week, and wish you guys great success throughout the week. And again, try and keep the debate centered stuff in the shed full of shit, because that's where we keep our shit, is in the shed full of shit. And we'll have a good time. I think it's gonna be a great new show. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and certainly it's a
and you guys deserve better.
Yeah, and we'll get to hear Ben. We'll get to hear Glenn and Ben and all these guys debate week in, week out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Stacy at what was it? Stacy Lady Christ person. I can't read the whole. It's already. I don't want to scroll up. Where is it? Right. Stacy Lady Christ Warrior. You do not have to cam up. I want to do a cam up rule for the debates. However, a lot of people use avatars. We're thinking about an avatar penalty or something like that if you're not going to cam up, but we'll see how that works out. I'm not really sure. We got to figure that part out. I know some people don't like it, but I just prefer not to. Yeah, I did steal your idea, Ben, because it was a good one. That's what happens when you have a good idea and you say it out loud, is people steal that shit. Better you learn now, son. And
and also, you guys, the best form of compliments are mimicking.
Assign them an avatar of shame. Briar Wolf is on fire today. He is on fire. All right, guys, I do have to get out of here. I've got to go send some emails. I got to go buy a company or maybe two. And
basically, Grid says he's going to go have sex with his wife. All right.
That also noon sex. Hey, a nooner. There's nothing beats a nooner. Just telling you. So
a Hummer at nooner.
A Hummer at a Hummer and a nooner. How about that? I bet I can make that work. I can fit that in. Anyway, guys, as always, glad you all made it today. It's been a great show. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate all the support. via the super chats, memberships, and other assorted contributions. Glad to have Viking and Glenn on the panel along with Mr. Mister. It was a really good show today. Really had a great time. And to all of you guys, as always, be cool. Wear glasses if you need them, and stop standing on my